Hey, guess what? I forgot what day it is. Yeah. I just had somebody call me and said, "Hey, are you going live?" And I'm like, oh, what day is it? What time?" Yeah. Hate to tell you. Uh, let's see. Darn phone's dying now. Hey, I don't know who's. Hi, everybody. I forgot what day it was. Yeah, shut up, phone. Uh, yeah, I'm just trying. I actually just got woke up. One of you guys called me and said, "Hey, you going live tonight?" I'm like, "Wow, what time is it?" I fell asleep in the chair. Hey, Derek, how you doing? Uh, trying to find where I can see where everybody's at over here too. I never can find that thing. Hi, Mike. Hi, Casey. Pretty bad that I forgot what night it was. Oh, well, come on. Oh, come on, computer. Hey, Judy. It's going pretty good. You can thank one of my buddies out on the East Coast for calling me. I almost slept through what I was doing today. Yeah, but yeah, I'm still trying to find. I don't know why the YouTube is not bringing up my. Yeah, sleeping in the shop. Oh, there it is. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now I got it. Let's see. I don't know. Just about as bad as yesterday. Oh, shit. Turn the volume down so it don't feedback. Um, yeah. Hey, another one. Oh, Mikey, I just got your message too. Oh, yeah. Everybody's. I'm sorry, I forgot. Oh, uh, I was zonked. The last time I remember was 3:34 o'clock. Oh, let's see. Okay, got. Oh, okay. That. Yeah, the dog will keep you weighed down. Oh, so how's everybody doing? Better than me. I almost slept through tonight. I didn't have a very good couple of days there. Uh, today and the wife and I took off and we're just having fun. And yeah, oh, it's kind of like yesterday. I got everybody texting me and everybody's like, "Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing?" I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. It's been an interesting week. Hey, Jerry. Oh, well, hey, thanks, Solar Wind. Thank you. Uh, thanks. Uh, um, yeah. I can't believe I did that. He goes, "Oh, you're not going live yet, huh?" I'm like, "Why? What?" I didn't even know what day. I forgot what day. Oh, yep. We've wife and I drove 350 miles since yesterday. Yeah, I seen you found your old red truck there, Mike. That old thing was looking pretty good yet. Oh, we went for a ride today, and it was nice. Got to see Mom Bear. Haven't seen her in a week. She was been working. I've been working. I've been cleaning parts and going through stuff and uh. Oh, and somebody said they would be interested in one or two of those pistons. Contact me. I got permission to get rid of them if I can. What's a little donation, so we'll figure that out. Uh, hey, Pop, how you doing? Oh, I about missed the night. I can't believe I did that. But, oh, let's see. I can see this. Let's see how this works. Let's see if I can leave this room here for a second. Hey, girl, how you doing? Cat's freaking out. You guys haven't missed it yet. It's sitting there. It's close. I got that's going to probably be tomorrow. I'm going to, well, it's either going to be the 454 tomorrow. Oh, no. That ain't so bad then, Casey. And the 4.0. I think it's going to be what I'm work on tomorrow. But yeah. Got a 327 sitting there. Oh. Hopefully that works. Come on. I don't mean to wiggle you guys so much, but trying to find a spot for you guys to sit. But yeah, I haven't. Oh yeah, I haven't experimented with the. Man, I can't find a place for you guys to sit here. Let's see. That 4.0 is out of that Ford Ranger. And I got the heads cleaned up. I just got to get them up and get them serviced because I'm pretty sure when I was blowing them off, I could see water coming out around the valves. I brought home some rusty stuff. And, well, they're froze right now. Yesterday they were getting muddy. It's crazy how we've. It's crazy on how it's gone from dry to soft. I don't know. I'm surprised Mama. Well, she might be sleeping too. She might be sleeping too because when I dropped her off, she said she was going to lay down. So. Danger Ranger, yep. 60 degrees? Hey, Carl, I'll switch you. I think we're at... Oh, yeah, that's charging right now. He's over in the... he's over the border east, and... Cat, look at him. He's been checking everything out. I don't know what the heck he found that he smells, but he... Oh, Jerry, that's cold. I don't want any more cold air. I'm ready for it to warm up and stay warm. But, well, it's been over a week with the internet out here, and I tell you, I've had a couple of my buddies here stop, and they're like, wow. He says, you can watch a video? I guess he has a worse time than I do. Let's see, that's it, you guys, right? There. Okay. There, hey, that. Actually, our snowstorm that was supposed to be so bad, we didn't hardly really get anything out of it. Oops. Stayed for a little bit. There we go. Try that again. Yeah, we lucked out. We really didn't get any. I think north of us, they got a lot more than what we did. Wow. I should have had a camera going when I come to. I'm like, especially when my buddy goes, "You ain't going live tonight?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't." Actually, the cat curled up on me. He got warm. I got warm, and I was out. Oh. So yeah, we got a bunch of stuff to go through, clean, tear down, check out, and start matching up stuff again. Hey, Matt. Oh no, you caught the flu. Well, you take care of yourself. That's kind of getting scary. This flu. Yeah, that's what it was, Mike. I was like, what? This is uh. So far here in Iowa, as of last night, 49 people have died here in the state of Iowa from flu this year. And I talked about my friend that died on the 31st. I talked to his mom, and come to find out, they said it was the flu that they think killed him. So, yeah, you got to watch this flu this year. One of the years, I'm really glad I got the flu shot. It isn't protecting against all of them, but yeah, 49 already. I'll get warm. Yeah. I guess I needed a nap. Yesterday, buddy was out here. I couldn't even pick up a camera yesterday. Hey, David, how you doing? I wanted to film buddy working on his trailer, as we had everything played to Netris and shoved everything back and got his trailer in here so he can finish welding it up. Out of all week, nothing. Then yesterday, 7 or 9 people were here. I had umpteen calls, umpteen messages. It was just crazy. And I looked at my buddy and I'm like, we're usually out here on the weekend and we don't hear nothing from anybody, but yesterday was the day. It was just, I never even got to pick up the camera yesterday. And otherwise, the half dose kind of worked in my knees. Yeah, but it still messed with the blood sugars. I hit 2 nights ago when I went home. I was at 471. Hey George, how you doing? It's not going. It's going better. It's getting better. At least this time with the shots, I knew what to expect and when it was coming, so I was able to catch it, and I've got my numbers back under control. So Mama Bear and I just took off and had fun today. So would wake up. Hey Danny, how you doing? So yeah, I'm looking around. I'm like, I got plenty of projects to get going, and I got to start putting some of these together. And that's what I was starting to say. And some of this rusty stuff, I got the 454 guy. I showed him some stuff. I think he's going to get a bottle of this stuff. And we're going to clean his headers and that. And if it were, yes, we needed to get out and have some fun, and that's what we did today. She actually went with me. I was really happy that she did. We're going to, and if this stuff that works as good as it does in their videos that they show, I can take a rusty looking motor and make it look brand new. I'm been talking to them back and forth, and I want to get my hands on some of that stuff. And so if that works, and I ain't going to be afraid of rusty blocks anymore, which would be cool. So then that'll open up some more work, and they say you should be able to, once you set up a batch, you should be able to do about 20 to 30 DEFCON 2. Rusty nuts. I don't know. I have tried. I asked him about, like, when I got rust in the bore, rust in the galleys. They say it will remove it all. I'm really. He said if you put it in a plastic container that you can seal, he says it'll last about 2 to 3 months. Yeah. Heck, you guys can look it up. It's called Dr. X Rust Remover. And I'll hopefully get some and get the test. And I've got a couple of good candidates right here, right now. That'd be the easy way to fix that Ford, then. I wouldn't have to worry about it. Now, this stuff's supposed, you can stick your hand in it, you can throw it on your paint, and it won't do nothing. So, it won't remove paint. All it does is remove the rust. And you got to have, so I got to hot tank everything before I can try and remove the rust because the it won't remove grease. So yeah, I'm kind of been dilly dallying around wanting warmer weather, and it's getting here. And right now, I'm at the point where I guess no more welding in here for right now. Yeah, to hear the four dreads. Um, what I'm doing with the hot tank, Jerry, is yep, I can the hot tank. What I use in there, uh, is more environmentally friendly since it's not caustic. Because if I go caustic in the hot tank, then I can't clean any more aluminum parts. If I put caustic stuff in there, then it would turn the aluminum black, and you'd never get it back. Being aluminum color, it'd always be colored black and look like hell. So I guess the caustic cleaning I'll still take in and let the machine shop do. He, the one I'm using now, he gave a price of doing that, and I'm like, it's almost hard to continue to clean here, but once they've been stripped down to that point, and then this other stuff, then I can. Because otherwise, your other choice to get rid of all this rust is if you'd have to have them shot peened, and then you'd have to have the block line board, and then you'd have to redo the line bore on the cam bearings. It's just a lot of unnecessary work where this stuff, you just dip it, soak it for 20, 30 minutes, and it comes out clean. So, and I asked him, I got some pistons since I see them soaking stuff. They says it is not recommended to put the aluminum in it, so it might kill it. So that's what I wanted to really ultimately test was I got some pistons on rods, but they've rusted. Wouldn't mind saving the rods to see how this stuff works. But he wrote me back and says, "Nah, I wouldn't stick any aluminum in it." He said at this time he said they're working on a formula to work with aluminum. So, like, okay, that's fine. That's just what I wanted to know. I hope that ain't the crank to your new motor, is it, Jerry? I hope not. I don't know. I might have, Carl. I might have. Who knows? Oh, okay. Well, look up Doctor X. Doctor X. You might. I mean, you can put it in a spray bottle. You don't have to dunk it. You can even just spray it on, let it soak. I mean, it's really cool stuff. And okay, I've never heard of that. I'll have to look that up. Hi Ryan, how you doing? Yeah. Oh, and for my guys across the border, I forgot all about it. I might have a way of getting motors across the border now. I forgot the guy I used to work for. Um, can ship anywhere in the world because he ships his what they make all over the globe. And I was talking to him about that, and he said he says, well, if you get somebody that wants a motor across the border or anywhere, he says, let me know. He said we can figure out the shipping and get it to them. So I guess if I ever have a motor anybody's interested in it, and it ain't here in the U.S., might have found a way to get it to you now. Sorry to hear you had a rough week there, Ryan. What happened? I think the warm weather's coming, or we got another snowstorm coming because the cat's freaking out. It seems like every time he starts acting like that, getting goofy, tearing up the floor, running and growling. Oh, sorry to hear that, Ryan. Ooh, multimeters ain't. If he's high on catnip, I'd like to know where he found it. Okay, did I? Okay, Matt, you get feeling better. Make sure you keep drinking the fluids and. Hey, not to freak you out, but every time I get the flu, you know what helps me? My mom used to do it cold, but take milk, lots of butter, salt and pepper, put it in, microwave, melt it, then fill it either with toast or crackers. And then when that soaks up the milk, put more butter in it, more pepper, more salt, stir it all together, and eat that. And that clean. I can swear by it. It helps. It really, really helps. Yeah, Ryan. Yeah, it's just starting off a rough year. Yeah, and somebody goes, that's kind of gross, but I said it's oyster soup. Basically, what you're doing is eating oyster soup without the oysters, and it helps. It does. I got one of my kids to convince to try it, and hey, she's like, hey, it does help. So one of those old time home remedies. I guess all that crackers and all the milk soothes your stomach, and uh, well, Matt's got the flu there, and that's how when I know I'm getting the flu, that's what I do is it seems like all that stuff absorbs all that crap and then it helps get rid of it. So I don't know, it's just something I've done all my life, and about the time I don't do it, then I get really sick. Yeah, the flu. So yeah, you can't get that sick, Matt. You got too many cars to paint in that, and you got too much hell to raise yet. And Carl, he's it's just crazy. Oh, don't worry about that, Matt. Jeez. Oh, you worried about the typos? I can't even speak. I'm saying the wrong name wrong. This. Duh. Yeah, surprised Mama Bear hasn't popped in, but like I said, I bet you she's sleeping. She was up at 4 o'clock. Then come home, slept for about an hour before I got up, so we can go do what we did, and yeah, we just had a nice fun day. Uh, and yep, she was already rolling them off this morning. First thing, I didn't have the camera rolling, but yeah, you know, when I left this morning, I was like, yeah, yeah, I'm happy to see that this is. I think what I was getting a little bit of a leg for is the computer I'm using hadn't been updated in a couple of years. So now that it's got a good internet and could update, it did all its updates, and actually I can do Windows Live Movie Maker from the computer now out here. Before I couldn't even use it. Well, I went to do it, and it said I needed a patch, so I put the patch in, and now everything works. I'm like, yes. But evidently, when it converts it, it doesn't convert it down like the one in town. So I seen the last one got put out in full screen. So, but just start it, walk away, and forget it. As long as the power don't go out, we're okay. But on that, yeah, some of those old ones. I mean, the ones that we use at home are old Vistas. We've been having good luck, and the one that I've been having trouble at home is a Windows 10 laptop, and yeah, that thing at home it just don't can't work, and I don't understand it. Bring that same computer out here, and it works just fine. So I haven't figured that one out. But yeah. So yeah, I guess I was a little late for my own show tonight. A lot of my friends used to kid. He said I was always going to be late for my own funeral. Well, I don't know what they did with Windows 10, but Windows 10 and Movie Maker now works. I gotta now that it works, I gotta play with. It's a different version of what's on my Vista, so I gotta Uh, Power switch. Okay, that ain't so bad, Mike. Yeah, being late for my own funeral would be a good thing. Yes. Uh, just everybody years ago it used to be if I told you I was going to be there in 45 minutes, I'm there in an hour and a half. Threw the computer into the ditch. Uh oh, that wasn't good. Oh, yep. I can't think of what else. I got a bunch of stuff. I got to start cleaning and tearing some things apart, but I kind of miss my big workbench in here, but that thing takes up too much real estate. And oh no, the 454. He called me the day he picked up some oil and filter and the zinc additive for it. So I guess yeah, I think tomorrow will be 454 in this 4.0 day. See if we got it. I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to replace the push rods in this 454 since he went with those other heads. And since he went with those other heads, so we'll have to get those ordered, and then we can get that fired up, and then get that out of here and move on to all this other stuff. Oh, excuse me. Uh, I kind of had trouble with the old system, and I had to take a medication. And that yesterday when I got up, my blood sugar started out. Kicked it twice. We had an old computer that we'd punch, and the thing would work better. It didn't make any sense. But the blood sugars yesterday started out at 321 yesterday morning, and today I was started out at like 191. The pictures were some that were in the old farmhouse out here, and don't think they're anything special. I just happened to save them, put them up on the wall here, and they've been up there so long that when you take them down, and stop skipping. Yeah. When you take them down, I mean, you can see the new drywall behind it because the drywall's never been painted. It's a shop. Who cares? Otherwise, yeah, there's the books and yesterday. You know what, Danny? I probably didn't because no, I don't think I did, Danny. Because when I got done here last night, it was late. I went home. I only checked a few things, and I was sitting in front of the computer out. And I woke up 2 o'clock this morning to go to up and finally lay down. So I don't think I have seen that yet. Yeah, yeah. Uh, or were you the one that called me the Piston Whisperer? I did see somebody calling me the Piston Whisperer, and that was quite a deal too. And let's see, what did I just miss? Yeah, we. Let's see. Yeah, look at that one. You can even see that crack in there. And that's the numbers. Let's see. That's a 11040, and the other numbers are 9935. Yeah, they're just ashtrays, and yeah, so they're just scrap. Uh, okay. I wish 2002 Ford F350 using oil. If they use the same oil, if they use the same rings they used in this Ranger, you're probably looking at that problem. Oops, we got oil dripping. There is the burn exhaust that was going past the rings. Then you can see where the piston is collapsing and rocking in the cylinder. And I'm pretty sure when we get done, all the other pistons out of that V6 is going to look the same way. So, yeah, 6 out of the 8 pistons got cracked skirts. And unfortunately, there's no name on this. No, there's just no way of identifying what these were. And then, like I said, I got noticing when you could see where they had smucked the head right across there. You can see from there to there, it had been hitting on the head. So, yeah. So, yeah, if they got the same rings they put in the little motor here, that could be a problem. Or it could be a PCV valve. Oh, okay, I did read your comment now that I've seen it. Okay, yeah. Well, this shouldn't have been on NOS, but who knows? I'm not really sure where those pistons came from, but yeah, that's why I want you to get your part number to those pistons you got, Carl. And that's, you said you got Keith Black pistons. Here's a set of Domers, and the part numbers are 302, which this is like a 6-inch rod, 400 piston. That's 30 over, so they don't. Yeah, I know I smarted off, and somebody goes, "Yeah, I'll take one of those pistons ashtray." So I gotta raise money with some of this stuff and keep everything going. So yeah, I gotta do some talking and do some double checking with stuff, but yeah, one way or another, we'll get her done. Oh. Come on, no, don't. Okay. Yeah, well, yeah, that could work. I guess I'd have to see where we'd be shipping them to. So, otherwise, I'll get out the plasma cutter and cut some faces in them and kind of do like Jerry was doing with his stuff, making little figurines. Mick El Camino? Oh, don't tell Matt that. He's been looking for one. If Matt's still listening, then he'll probably jump off the thing, off his couch and go, "What? What year El Camino was that, Ryan?" Ah, the dog finally let you up, huh, Mike? An 85. And it was still mint condition? Holy. Wow. A lot of those 85s, most of them didn't have a floor pan left in them. I told you, Ryan. It only had 30,000 miles on it. Matt heard. Yep. Yeah, I know. I've been thinking about doing that. I got. Well, oh, that's probably in the trailer right now because when I showed that table out, I think it was sitting on there. Had that one that I made, and yeah, we gotta. You had your 73. Okay, that's what you had. Yeah, I've had somebody else tell me that I should make little trophy guys out of these and all sorts of things. It just I'm learning after yesterday's welding project. I almost can't do that in the same building. I'm going to have to either add on or get another building up just to keep either to move the welding into. Hey Kurt, how you doing? And Ryan, if I remember, you're in Eastern Iowa, right? I can't remember. Oh, that if he trades that Camaro off for an El Camino, that would be yep. The exhaust, the welding don't get to me. I mean, we had the door open and that, and I got that filter right there. I clean that out and I start because I'm like I was sitting in the office and I'm like, hey, something burning out here? And he goes, no. And I come out and you just see the haze. So I took the filter out of that, blew it out, put it back in there, and 7 to 10 minutes later, the air was clean in here. And when he got done last night, he's like, wow, that thing works good. Hour southeast of Des Moines, okay. Oh, hey, yeah, the autograph Pistons, yeah. Yeah, okay. You're okay, right? You're the one with the 400 that's stuck, right? I'm starting to. I'm. Hey, that's getting scary. I'm starting to remember stuff. uh, why? Okay, alrighty. Yeah. Um. Yeah, and I might have found. Okay, what did I miss about what Danny say? I missed something there. Oh, okay, there it is. 402. Ooh, nice. Yes, that would be nice. It's one owner. Okay, that's even. Well, you're probably second owner now. Okay. Found a motor for it yet? Yeah, I don't know what happened to our one but guy that was going to come up here at the end of the month and okay, he's going to come up and build one, but haven't heard or seen nothing of him. So I don't know what happened there. Next Friday, Saturday should have another race motor here. Gear wrench tools. I got drawers of the gear wrenches. I love them. Imagine that, the furnace. The gear wrenches, I'm having great luck with. The Sears version of the gear wrenches, I jam them. But the gear wrenches I've got with the ratchet ends on them, I haven't been able to break them. Okay, Carl. You behave out there. Don't get in trouble. Yeah, I almost missed it too, Mike. I almost missed it. If it wasn't for my buddy out on the East Coast calling, I would have slept through it tonight. I Where is? See that blue chair there? That's my friend, but it's also my enemy. It got me. I forgot what night. I actually when he called, I didn't know. I really didn't know where I was. Okay, Ryan. Yeah, I've yet to break any gear wrenches. I'm having good luck. I used to be a Sears craftsman, but since all right, George, nice seeing you. Thanks for coming by. Yep, you be careful, Carl. Hopefully you're feeling better too. Uh, Now that Sears are closing and now the Kmart's are closing, it's next to impossible to get any Sears stuff warranted for me around here now. And I'm not going through the hassle of sending it through the mail and then, so. Oh, okay. Hey, as long as it keeps moving, that's all you need, right? I gotta grab a bottle of water. Yep. Oh. Hey, I miss anything? Oops. Okay, Carl, okay, I'm just telling you, I'm remembering things and I forgot what Carl's talking about. Oh, yeah, never, yeah, I will. All right, Jerry, thanks for stopping by, and you take care. Hopefully, you get some warm weather out there. A 400 turbo with a 205. Okay. That ain't a bad combination in that old truck. 23 people in here tonight. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. And I did see got a donation tonight. Alex, yeah. Uh, Smash that like button if you like. Yeah, the 700 R4s, I have tore up many of them, and I replaced a lot of them when I worked in the junkyard. And it's just everything depends on how you treat it. uh, it's all made to break and cost us money. Nothing ever lasts forever. Yep, I got to get the crack checker fired up this week and crack check a bunch of heads and about 4 or 5 blocks. So, but I'm getting smarter. I'm using my cherry picker more and more. 400 swap in the stick. Come on. If you're taking out a 400, or if you, we did swap. There is a kit, or used to be a kit. You had to change out the coupler going from the transfer case to the transmission to put a 400 turn. Yeah, there's something about you got to the splines from the 400 to the transfer case are different than the 350s and 700 R4s. There's a used to be a kit that was made, so we put it in at the junkyard a few times. Those guys were tearing up those 700 R4s, and then we'd get a good 400 turbo in, they'd want it. And guy that used to do transmissions, he had all that stuff, but I don't know. That's one of those things. As I'm getting deeper back into this car and all this repair stuff, the stuff that was common parts for us back then are now becoming obsolete because vehicles are obsolete. I mean, they're getting. It's crazy how things cycle around. That you can have a popular piece for 5, 10 years, and the next thing, it's not worth nothing. And that's a lot of these small blocks. I mean, I just found out that evidently the core prices have gone down at the machine shops. So I don't know. It's almost kind of scary that someday all the small block stuff is going to be absolutely just worth cast iron. So, but it'll be fun building toys for me until you can't buy parts. They're going to be my. It's going to be my fun. Yeah, the LS's motors are, but there's a new thing happening with these LS swaps. These kids are thinking, oh, I'm just going to rip out my motor and put an LS motor in, and they start snipping wires, and then when they get the motor down in there, they can't get it wired right to run, and yeah, so just because they seen it done on a TV show or somebody else did it and it worked, they thought they could just hack wires. So yeah, there's kind of a. It goes back to what I've said before. We need to get the industrial arts back in the school and start teaching these kids again how to fix or modify or replace. Hey Drew, how you doing? That's okay too. I had somebody call me and wake me up so I could do the show tonight. I did some stuff out here, sit down in the chair for a second, and the cat cuddled up with me. He got warm, I got warm, and I was out. So I almost missed my own show. They had a block mountain. Yes, I've seen where they've cleaned cast iron and just oh. There was one junkyard I went to, and machine shop said they were shot. I brought them home, checked them out, and had them go back through a machine shop. Out of the nine or 10 motors we grabbed, I think 3 of them were actually no good. The rest of them were fine. They just tossed them. I'm like, wow. Saved me money back then when we were racing because I didn't have to pay for the cleaning of them because they were already clean. I got them before they laid there too long. So, yep. Yep. So, Mama Bear, she had fun with me. And I think Mama Bear's kind of getting excited because I'm actually working on this stuff again. Don't think I'll ever build a car to go racing because they got some pretty goofball rules out there nowadays. I mean, to me, racing is run what you brung. If you built it in the dirt floor of your shop and it works, you run it. Now they got to have all this. Times are changing. Too many rules. Nobody's adventurous. Nobody wants to have exciting fun or just go crazy. No, they're not. A few of them around here are getting pretty bad. Yeah, I think Mama Bear's kind of getting the itching for going back and I guess get a couple of these motors built and back out on tracks wherever they go. I would like to, because here they got what they call Boone Super Nationals. It's a week of racing down in Boone, Iowa, and one of the motors that holds together for the kid, he's going to go to the Boone Nationals this year, so that'd be interesting. It'd be cool to have a motor down there and see how it does against all those guys. So, you never know. Yeah, those videos, the videos you got of the good old time cars back then, that was good. That brought back a lot of memories there, Mike. Yeah. Oh. Where is that sucker? That's going to show. Where is that? No, that's just the chair squeaking on the floor, Mike, too. Where did I go with that? I know I didn't take it back. Ah. I'm the only one out here, and I... Really? Oh, there it is. Just bear with me. Okay. I found it. This is gonna be a shop wall decoration, especially when I get the office built. Did I miss anything? Okay. For you guys, I've talked about beam polishing rods, and they're like, "Oh, is it worth the time or not?" Well, what do you think? Look at how that rod is bent, twisted. Yeah, the piston, well, obviously you can see some. That's not good, but that is what they call beam polishing right there. And if this rod hadn't been beam polished, I guarantee you it would have snapped. But yeah. Could you imagine the force it took to bend that thing? So yeah, I'm starting to collect oddities like this, and I'm going to if I ever get the shop edition or an office, this be the crazy oops things on the wall. Yeah. So usually when I've seen them been like that, there is nothing left. Yeah, I don't know the whole story about it, but boy, look at it bent there. That's a sign of a good piston when they bend and not snap. So yeah, and they did have aftermarket rod bolts in them. I have no idea. I have never seen anything, but yeah, they had the good rod bolts and the good beam polished rod, and yeah, that was cylinder number 8 according to the rod. So yeah, that that was going out of business sale there. That one said no more. Oh, I bet you he's got a few rods looking like that in that motor then, Mike. uh, it's kind of nice that everything's finally kind of taken off on this motor stuff, and that I got some stuff to tear down, clean up. That's going to be for sale, and some stuff I'm going to. Yeah, probably destroy. Yeah, where that probably come out of a. I know I've heard there's a couple of. Hey Jerry, how you doing? Yeah, it's sad that some tracks are shut down. Well, we're not doing too bad since you just got in here. I don't know if you've seen it, but here's one that came out of a motor. Put a little heat to that, straighten her up, she'd be good as new, right? When he pulled me out and showed me that, I'm like, wow, man, that just was. Oh, it was a TRW piston, so hey, kind of says something for your TRWs, huh? Oh. Grandkids, they've been coming out, seeing me, and that little Lily of mine, she's talking very, very good. I can understand her, so she's doing really good. She's already 2, and it's hard to believe here in another 2 months, Mason will be 1 year already. Yeah, be good as new. I need a smelter. Forge my own pistons. Yeah, right. Yeah, it's hard to believe the grandkids are. Lily's heading for 3 already, and Mason's going to be 1, and he's almost walking. He's a little daredevil. He pulls himself up, and he'll walk the couch and that, and he's got a little toy with a tiger on it, and he'll take off across the room. So, JB Weld? Oh yeah, that might plug the hole in the piston. That I'd like to know how big a smoke cloud that thing sent out when it went. But no. Yeah, I keep telling Mom and Dad I'm going to have him out here turning wrenches with me. Or Lily, I don't care. Or both of them. There's no harm in having a girl turn wrenches. So I don't know how many more years we're always going to have something that needs to be wrenched on, because 6 months, aw, and they grow so fast. But then again, that's scary. Yeah, we were driving around and we come across where the round bells, the big cornstalk bells. I don't know how those guys think they can go down the road without putting straps on, But we seen today where one fell off, and luckily it fell off on the ditch side and kind of rolled out into the field and undone itself. But yeah. Forgot what I was saying. Oh well. So yeah, it's well, yeah, I'm going to be, I can't believe 50 this year. I'm like, smoke screen. Yeah, it's just amazing on how time flies. And I also had to talk, that little MG midget. Remember that car when I worked on that little motor? That little motor is now giving us a little bit of fits. The front seal decided to leak on us. I don't know if it's because it's not been driven much or what happened, but I thought there was something to doing that. We got to pull the front. Luckily, we don't have to tear it into the motor, but we almost got to pull the motor out of the car to get the harmonic balancer off. To get to the, on that little MG, it almost looks like a Chevy timing cover. But we got to pull that off because on that car, I'm like, I think there's something weird. Yeah, the front seal goes from the inside out into the tin instead of the outside in. So, yeah, so not only do you have to replace the front seal, now you got to replace that timing cover gasket around it too. And the guy's been wanting me to go down and work on it. Well, prior to me getting these shots the other day, I wasn't doing very good. I couldn't pick anything up off the floor. I was having a hard time walking, and that's why I broke down when I got the shots. But I'm finding out it's getting a little scary. It's getting to where, unless I'm standing up, we're like working at a hoist. But if I got to bend over any, I can't do it. The back and the legs are not letting me do it anymore, and that's what I told them. So his boy's going to do the work, and I'm just going to supervise, which I guess is better than nothing. But I told him I'm not ready to be sitting in no wheelchair. So, and plus my doctor was happy with me too. I think next time I go see him, I'm going to find a scale and see how much. All right, Drew, take it easy. All right. See how much weight I have actually lost, because Doc even says you're losing weight. I told him what I'm doing. I told him I'm down to eating twice a day, and I said this is the only way I can keep my numbers under control, even with the insulin I got now. That's the only way I can. So. I know the yeah, I could tell. Yeah, I guess it'd be cool. I really don't look forward to having surgery to have extra skin removed, but I guess if that's all I got to do to get healthy, then I guess that will be a minor thing. But yeah, I could tell my body fat is not as dense as it used to be. So. Like I told Doc, I said, if you ain't putting it in your mouth, you ain't putting it on. He goes, well, yeah, that is true. So I'm kind of happy with it. So it is what it is. As I want to get the weight off so I can keep moving and keep doing this and do what I can. Because I'm not ready to be sitting around. Not by any means. I went through that for 3 years. And all of a sudden, I was the video guy playing games all the time. I finally got sick of the computer, and I got up and I started doing things. Now I've come down for 580 pounds. 580 pounds was my heaviest weight I ever hit. So I've done something right. It's nice to have the energy. It's nice to be going. So, yeah. Then I rearranged for the computer and moved the refrigerator out here so I can get to the drinks easier. And then I got to move a shelf on the wall so I can get the refrigerator moved back. Why is it you go to reorganize things to make it? There you go. That would be fun, Mike. When you go to make things easier for yourself, you end up actually creating more work to rearrange things before it works out the way you want. That's the other thing I got. I'm thinking about taking one of the corners over there and building a floor-to-ceiling metal shelf to start storing stuff on. I need a little more storage. Yeah. Oh, and then the sawmill deal. I got to get a hold of the guy. He's the only guy that didn't. I was expecting to get a hold of me yesterday. He's the only one that didn't. He was supposed to go after the jig yesterday. So the sawmill deal is not dead. It just might be we are adding on to this shop because the jig's 30 foot long. My building is outside is 30 foot. So it's going to be a little hard to put a 30 foot jig inside a 20 foot, 29, 6, yeah, whatever. So it'd be a little hard to fit. Now, if I did a diagonal, it'd be okay, but then, yeah. Got some planning to do. Oh, well, that's the other thing, too. The same person with the trailer house has also informed us the dream of getting to the farm might be happening this real soon. It could be happening this year. We got a trailer house located, and I just found out the deal on that. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. That's when I remodeled the buddy's garage, and then I found out that I'm pretty sure I'm allergic to that foam insulation. So we might actually be able to get to the farm this year. It'd be great. Because then I'd just stay in here all night. So, get out here and since we own the house in town, I think Mom and I will come out here and we'll put the kids in the house in town. We don't need that big house for ourselves anymore. They can have it and do what they need to. When we were out driving around, we noticed some small houses, and she's like, that's about all the space we need. I said, yeah, that is. Hide from Mama Bear? I don't. Yeah, I don't think I could hide from her. Not for long. Yeah, I've built 2 or 3 house additions. 4 garages, and then the buildings that are gone here at the farm that we built out of scrap wood and that, but my dad never finished when they rotted. I mean, I kind of miss doing the construction. She's ready to move to the farm. She wants out of town. If we could get a trailer house tomorrow and get it hooked up and have heat in it, she'd be packing and getting out of town. I can't stand being in town anymore. It's just need the space. I mean, and like her, I told her on the nights I can't sleep, instead of sitting at the computer, I could be in here messing with stuff. That's what the goal is, to get my hands. I really want to get my hands on a boring bar, a hone station, and a rod heater, so I can put the press fit pistons on, and I would be out here doing that stuff myself. Yeah, we had a trailer house that was for free, and we were at the school at the. It takes me about 5 minutes to get to the farm. It's far enough out of town. It's and the only reason we ended up in town, we tried calling my dad's bluff. But boy, he sure suckered us. Because we had a trailer house out here at the time, and we wanted to add on, but being it was Dad's farm, we tried being nice and just saying, hey, we're adding on. tried getting him to. He wouldn't give us the answer. If you knew my dad, you would understand. Just wouldn't give us the answer. But the second one, this house, we went and looked at this house, and the oldest, she was going to turn 2, and she fell in love with the house. And we talked to Dad, and Dad wouldn't give us an answer to adding on. It would have been actually cheaper to stay on the farm and add on. Next thing I know, Dad helped us get the house and got started on that. And I'm like, okay. She goes, that didn't go like we planned, did it? So, yeah. But later, well, I've got metal here. I'm going to be building another one. Unfortunately, and when I put that 454 on there, I left the headers and everything, and that thing went right on there this time. The last small block I had on there, I fought getting that thing on there. In the video, that thing just whoop right in there. I think the next one that I do, I'm going to put a little bigger wheels on it. So, like, some of these motors, I'd like to get them outside away from the building, and I haven't got the concrete out here yet. It's just gravel. I might put bigger tires on it, or a rubber tire of some kind, so I can actually roll it across the ground and get a little further away from the building. But yeah, I've got a couple more that I'm going to build, and after running this 454, I now know. Buddy convinced me that a 1/2-inch plate steel was heavy enough. Well, after having that 454 on there, and I kind of seen it start sagging, I forgot to check if it was actually the tube sagging or if it was the head of it. I'm going to go back to 5/8 plate for making the heads on my engine stands. I got a few more of those I want to build, but I'm finding out I can't be doing the welding. Okay, Mike. Yeah. Yeah, when you're living out here in the country, this is the other sad thing. My friend that died, it's been 3 weeks. I just bumped into his mom, I don't know, within the last few days. He had some tools and that in the garage and that. The thieves already hit his place, and she says most of all his stuff is now gone out of their garage. I'm like, you kidding me? She's, nope, they got this stuff. Yeah, I'm going to, I don't mind the engine stands without the wheel locks. That's not too bad. But for anybody else, they would be having it, locks on them. And the place I got these wheels through for now, it was just ones that they weren't exactly cheap, but they weren't. Yeah, Judy, that's. I'm like, she said she's seen and she's older, frail, and she said she's seen a light on. I'm like thinking, why didn't you call the cops right then and there? Seeing a flashlight, and she said I couldn't go outside to confront anybody. So yeah, if I'd known about it, I would have been chasing them with the pickup. But so yeah, it's just crazy. But yeah, these wheels I got for the engine stands came from the local farm supply store. So, and that's the other thing I'm thinking too. I've got a, well, yeah, my building in town, I got some old fuel oil tanks in the basement. I'm thinking seriously of getting one of those out and degreasing it, emptying it, and that, and turning it into a big sandblast cabinet so I could throw a head or an intake or, well, I won't do an engine block in there because, like I said, it'd be too hard to sandblast an engine block, but get me a big sandblasting cabinet so I can blast stuff. '53 Chevy with a 235. Oh yes. Yep. I'd like to have some of those old cars. See how the battery's doing. Hey, the battery's doing great. Cool. So, but yeah, oh, that's what I was saying. I'm getting to where I know I can no longer. I don't have any. The 454 was covered up, so that was safe. But all these other engine builds I got right now that are opened up with all that grinding dust and welding dust and all that, I can't keep mixing it. And after Buddy got done, I had the door open. I broomed it, and took the blower off the shop vac and hit the benches and everything and just blew it all out the door and cleaned it up. So, and the building I used to build motors in was a wood floor building, and I kind of miss that building. I used to like fishing when I was younger, and I guess I can't. Is it catfish that sting you? I can't remember, or bullfish, or my dad was getting. It was my dad or my uncle was getting me taught how to take them off, and I grabbed a hold of the fish, and I didn't have a held right. Hey Patch, how you doing? And I got stung, and my hand swelled up. I haven't touched a fish since. Yep, I like having the campfires. I got some trees out here. I finally got my chainsaw after doing all this rearranging around. I got the chainsaw out. Now I got to find the fuel line where I put it to replace it. I did dispatch. I'm having a good show tonight. We got 27 people in there. Hey Terry, how you doing? Hey Terry, check this out. Oops, it laid down on me. How many times you seen one like this, Terry? Ain't that pretty? But the rod didn't break. It held. I hate to know what that block looked like, but okay, see, yeah, I seen that. Seen a few of those tossed out. That was a stock rod that, and I've got a video out there where I talk about beam polishing. Or if you see how that's nice and smooth right there, and that, you got to be careful when you do it. Usually you got the rod bolts out, and you got to be real careful where you beam polish to. That's a beam polished rod, and this is an aftermarket that is not a, whoa, about missed the chair, not a beam polished rod. You see how you still see the, from when they punch this out, it's still got a little bit of that. The one thing I come across one set over there, and I'm surprised it didn't snap the rods. Yeah, Mike. You cannot go crossways on the rod polishing. You actually have to follow the rod to do that. So there's a video, I can't remember what I called it, that I showed the difference between, you start out with the rod, it's dead sound. After you get done beam polishing that, it'll ring like a bell, and it makes a difference. But also when you do that, you got to rebalance the rods, the small ends and the big ends, and get them balanced up. But you can see what kind of force they yeah, Mama Bear would have been here. Yeah, she'd been. And Mama Bear was, while we were out driving around today, she was even talking about more. She said, I got to get out there and build one of the motors. And she told me I got to film it. I got to film it so I can edit it, because she says, you probably get booted off of YouTube if you don't. So, yep, we got all sorts of things going on around here. Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't get any comments on my facial expression when that one piston hit the floor. I thought I busted it at first. And it just reminded me, Mama Bear, there you go. It just reminded me, you always, when using used parts, you've got to look at every possible. Hey Gary, how you doing? We're just kicking back, having fun, even though my show was late tonight because I was still sleeping in the chair when a buddy called and said, hey, ain't you going live tonight? So, yeah, I kind of almost missed my own show. I guess having the day with Mama Bear threw me off. Yes, and I keep telling Mama Bear she brings a lot of fun to this channel too. And she goes, oh no I don't. I said, oh yes you do. So, and here's something for. Well, the one reason I'm messing with the old small box is because it's what I've got right now. I'm waiting for the warm weather to get here and hopefully get some of this old small box stuff sold to somebody so I can go to the junkyard and go pick up about 10, 12 of those motors and start messing with them. But for right now, I'm getting hooked up with some race cars and that, which still are, they're not going with the crate motors. So, and it's just something I've grown up doing all my life. Yeah, Gary, the problem is you write it down, then I got to remember where I put the piece of paper I wrote it on. Speaking of that, thank you. That's something I need to, yeah, because that's my instructions on some stuff. But, I almost forgot that. I would have ended up in the wash and I've been going, what was I supposed to do? So yeah, this old small block, this is what I grew up on. I've done. And to me, if a small block is built right, it still will outrun any LS. I mean, just because you build something big doesn't mean you're not going to come up against something bigger. And it's not always the motors, the transmissions, the rear ends, the tires. It's the nut behind the wheel is who really wins the race. So, and you know, it's just fun. There's so much stuff that could be done to these old small blocks. Oh yeah, they move along. Oh yes. Oh yeah, I ain't saying there's nothing wrong with these 5.3s. Well, that. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, a lot of the race cars, I mean, a lot of our Monte Carlos, Cutlasses, Grand Prix, Regals, any metric car, or even the old 70s stuff, all the Malibus and Le Manses and all that was able to be turned into race cars have been, a lot of nice cars have been destroyed in the name of racing and having fun. But I still believe, and a lot of us believe, buying a crate motor for $4,000 to $6,000 and then having the same motor that Joe Blow down the street has. So basically they're taking, what's happening with this industry is they're taking away the people's ability of thinking and trying and testing and pushing the envelope on making a motor run. They're taking the challenge out of it. So what? You got 40 guys out there on the racetrack. They're all running the same motor. It's coming down to either the tire combinations, compound, or the guy behind the wheel is what the difference is. I mean, I've gone to races where a guy 1 week before he can get out of a wet paper sack with a big hole, come back the next week with the same motor, just a few tweaks, and you can't catch him. I mean, That's where I like I like to have the challenge. There's stuff that I've done to motors that if I would tell you people, you'd be going, there's no way in blankety blank that worked. It did. And so yeah. I know the world's changing. I mean, it just new 5.3s are nice. Yes I have, Kurt. I had a set of heads that I had that you could put a cigarette pack this way in the intake port, and when I adjusted the valves, I had to make sure the top four valve cover bolts were the two on each side of the head were in, so it wasn't whistling Dixie. Yes, that's the. You're right there, Scott. Built versus bought. You don't get. Where's the excitement other than, oh, there's a crate coming, there's a crate coming. Where here you're going and you're like taking the oil pan off a core motor and you're like, is it going to be a 2-bolt or 4-bolt? And you open it up, it's a 2-bolt this time. Okay, that's still no big deal. I mean, you don't have the surprises. You're just waiting for a crate motor to show up and you're like, put it in and it's going to run. Well, another guy and I was talking now, like I said, these guys thinking, oh, these LSs are simple to put in. Well, they are, as long as you didn't attack your car with a wire cutter and snip everything off, and then you're like, uh-oh. So now you got to replace the wiring harness in your car. Then you got to pull this pin out to put in over here, and this and that. Yeah. There's a crate coming. I just... Anyway, that what I'm talking about... Oh, heck, I'll show you. It was an old 590 casting. And... Yeah, I know you guys... You know, and also in the racing world, you never know who you're going to bump into, or who's worked for who, or whatever. I had an old boy that taught me a lot more, and there's a thing called reverse oil system in a small block Chevy. I lost part of my notes, and I can't quite remember, but I found another little key I kind of remember now. It's where you add 2 extra, because your lifters get oil for in that on the small blocks. You go and take and drill 2 more holes at the end of the lifter thing at the front cam bearing, because a lot of the small block problems were the front mains would run out of oil because it's the last thing to get the oil. Well, the oil system goes to the lifter first to get them pumped up. You drilled those 2 holes and that put extra oil up there. And some blocks have got a place where you could have an oil gauge in the front and back. I ran that motor with 2 oil gauges. The oil pressure was exactly the same front and back. And I ran the holy heck out of that motor. Never had a problem. So, I don't know how many of you remember old Smokey Unique. I ran into a guy that worked for him. And these guys, that's when I found out if you got a pair of headers that were brand new, you put them on the dyno, you run it, and the motor made 600 horse. Well, you let them sit that winter, and from the outside they look good, but on the inside they got surface rust, and then you put those same headers on and run that motor. Now the motor's only making 300 horse, 325, and they're, what happened? It's the same stuff we had last year that was making 600. What's going on? The surface rust inside your header from sitting is enough to knock horsepower out. Well, the story that got told to me was there's these guys that boat raced, had this motor all built up, and they couldn't get it to go. Well, when Smokey was still in business, they went and talked to him. And he says, well, it's not running right. Well, obviously, this is what he told these guys to do. They took their heads. You got your intake ports here, right? What I got told to do was take your middle finger, not being mean, put your middle finger in, and as far in as you can go, to that point, all that comes out. Your port match, your gasket, everything, all that, gone. And then you go up into the intake about 1.5 inches, 2 inches, do that. Gone. I put those heads on a 400 small block in a street stock and loaned the motor to a guy. And the guy I went to the race, wash it, and we're up in the grandstand, and it took a couple of laps before we finally figured it out, and everybody up in the grandstand is like, what's that noise? It was just a different sound. And about the third lap, I finally realized that was my motor making that sound. Well, he come up out of there after hot laps, and he goes, what did you do to that motor? I said, why? He says, I've never drove anything with so much horsepower before. And he had some pretty good motors in his street stock. I said, well, yeah. What? I said, if you like it, I'll sell it to you. And he ran it, and in the turns, he was passing 2 cars. The front straightaways, he'd pass 3 or 4 of them. He went from the back of the pack, and everybody, and then you should have heard the grandstand. The people were like, what is it? And they finally figured out which car's making that noise, and they're like, what did they do to that car? No, I don't fly it often. It's usually a mechanic's tool. And he was just totally impressed. He's like, I've never had anything with so much horsepower. So I want to do that again to another set of heads. And what I used was an old set of 520 casting 283 heads, so if it didn't work, I wasn't out much anyway. And my father-in-law, which is my old machinist, before he was my father-in-law, he thought I was nuts for doing it. He said, you're just ruining the heads. And then we took and put those heads off that 400 and put them on a 327. And the last I know, that motor is sitting in a guy's shop in Blair, Nebraska, because a friend of mine put it into his Camaro with a manual tranny. And I was supposed to get the motor back. I lost it. And the guy took it for a drive, and he dumped the clutch going over the bypass, and the car went sideways on him. He pulled it into his shop and pulled the motor out, and he says, there's no way in hell a kid is ever going to get their hands on that motor. So it was proven. It worked, and that was a little thing from Smokey. So, believe me or not, well, Patch should have probably kept it a secret, yes. But that technology, it's dying. Small block screwed up, rubbing elbows with Bill Jenkins. Oh, yes. Yep, I know. There's these new LS motors, William, oh yeah, then I found out I've got a first gen LS out of a Corvette aluminum block. Needs a couple of spots welded up, which that's easy to do. I've been trying to find the 350 crank to fit that, so I can build it back as 350. Who's calling me? I'm doing my live show. No, the phone was in on the charger. Okay, I'll be a little bit yet. So, alrighty. Bye. What was I talking about? Now the kid screwed me up. Let's see. Didn't. Can anybody remember what it's gone. But anyway, yeah. The LS motor. I was just told I could actually put a 5.3 in it and have an aluminum block 5.3. Yeah. Beer and women. So yeah, I could build an all aluminum 5.3 for one of the trucks. Now that'd be fun. And then I see they have the new Ellerbach uh, intakes out where you can turn them into carbureted. Then they got the spot formed for the ignition module to make it a plug and play thing. And now Eric. Oh, okay, that's cool. And Eric has now got the conversion pan where you don't have to saw. And oh wow, the grumpy, yeah. And I've got the conversion pan for muscle cars now, so you can get the correct pickup tube and the oil pan and all that, and uh, have fun with that. I mean, they're making them simpler. And I guess what first didn't really turn me on to the LSs when they were putting that funky thing on the front to make it a distributor, and then you had to extend your pulleys and everything. I mean, you had about that much pulley and junk on the front of the motor just to install a distributor. I'm like, wow. Hey there, Kenny. How you doing? uh, yeah. So we've now that they've got it to a smaller package. Yeah, I can see where the LSs are. Okay, Gary. Have fun and stay safe and stay warm and uh, six pack kind of. Okay. Uh, yeah, this YouTube stuff. I'm glad it's. I don't know. It's been interesting. Holy crap, we got 29 people in here. Well, thank you, everybody. That's cool. I think that's the highest number I've had in a while. And 16 likes. Jay Whitley. No, I don't. Unfortunately, my car stuff didn't come until late in high school. Prior to that, I was lawnmowers and woodworking. And then went to automotive diesel mechanics and then got out of that. Kept getting told I wasn't qualified enough and all that. And then the next thing I know, I started building race cars and did that for 14 years. So when the kids come along and the wife, you put that stuff off to the side. Well, now the kids are getting grown. And now it's my time to have fun again and do some of this crazy stuff. And like talking about doing that with the heads. I mean, you know, that's the thing. There's stuff that could be done that people aren't going to do. Yeah, the LS, they are a nice motor. They are very simple. Um, the first one I did, I kind of struggled with, but it's just like anything you start. I mean, you learn by your mistakes. You learn by your mistakes, and unfortunately, we never did find out what happened to that motor the first time they turned that oil to sludge like that. Which I would have liked to really known, but and I keep forgetting to do the test. The thing I think was when I gave that vehicle back to them, there were two bottles of fluid under uh, the hood. One was power steering and one was motor oil. And when I checked oil and it was low, I went to put oil in. The power steering fluid bottle was missing. So I don't know if power steering fluid mixed with motor oil would turn it to that sludge like that. I don't know. But never know. That was told stuff was sent in to be tested. Never heard back. Would have really liked to know, but let's see. Yeah, I missed it. I went through a phase where I got fed up with cars and that. And now that I've got back into it, and like I told somebody today, I says, here a few months ago, I tried going back to work. Worked, 3 or 4 days, and couldn't walk for 2 weeks after trying that. I then caught holy heck from the doctor for doing that. And yeah, he's right. I didn't get all the feeling back in my feet from doing that. This is all I got left to do is work for myself, to where if I get hurt and I can sit down and nobody can yell at me for sitting down. So, what better way? I mean, I've got some stuff here that's basically junk, but I might figure out how to fix it. I mean, what else do I got to do? If I fix it and it don't work and it's mine and it breaks, who cares? I do have a block that's here that's a candidate, and I've been thinking about this, of taking stuff that is junk. Like I got a crank over there. If it don't come clean, I'm really thinking about sandblasting it. And maybe just sandblast it, then polish it smooth, since this block is junk, possible, and take junk like that and whatever, and put it together and put it on the stand, take it out in the yard, and put a rope on it and start it and see how long it runs. See how bad we can make it blow up. I think that would be kind of fun to do. So, I've got some crazy ideas. To see what we can have fun with. I mean, so what? I mean, it's just cast iron at that point. Right. Right. I mean, if it's junk now and if you could start it and it's not going to last, I'm like, watch, I'll do that. And the motor won't blow up. But the second you take it off the stand, put it in the car to see, all right, let's see when this thing will blow up. That's when it'll blow up as soon as you put it in a vehicle to go have fun with it. But I had a friend of mine that always tried convincing me to do that, and we never did it. But it might be... yeah! I mean, there was nights at the races, I see guys claim motors, and they pull them out, and they're like, what the heck? The side of the block is JB Weld. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, we left the water in and froze it, so we just JB welded it shut, put the water back in it, and went back racing. And the guy claimed, oh, that guy was hot when he found out that thing was frozen broke. But hey, the guy won the race and got the claim, so he... it's crazy. I mean, and I learned one thing too. If you guys ever have an old small block that you put water in it and you forget it and it froze, don't touch that motor with a wrench whatsoever until it thaws out. Yeah, I mean, it's all... As soon as it thaws out, turn that thing over, get the radiator hose off it, and get the water out of it. I did that to 3 motors, and when I got them out, I told the father-in-law, yeah, I forgot water in them. He says, I bet you they're broken. He checked them, and they weren't. The key is when that thing's froze, and if you move that piston a 1/4 inch, you just split the block. It'll break it every time. And you let it thaw out, the pressure's off, then you can get in the part. So then also, too, if you got a rear motor that's been stuck and you can't get to the part, a rainstorm's coming, take the heads off it, put it out there in the rain so it catches it. Within 45 minutes after the last raindrop, go out there, put a wrench on it, and I can almost guarantee you it'll come loose. I had an old boy teach me that one. It was funny. Water rusted it up, but water freed it up. That's crazy how that works. So, yeah, I mean, doing these old motors, if anything, I had a crazy idea a couple of years ago of having about 10 motors built on engine stands in here and fire them all up at the same time, see what kind of noise that would make. Who knows? Maybe we'll get there one of these days. I mean, you're supposed to have fun. It's supposed to be interesting. And I know a guy on here that's running a 383 and he's having great luck with it. And what I've seen from these 383 parts that I've gotten to go through to check out, boy, this seems like there's just a lot of wear. But I think that's, again, that comes back to piston rod angle and all that. That versus 5.7 rods to 6-inch rod. I mean, it all changes. And when I thought these pistons were going to work, before I realized they were broke, Squirrel kind of had the dumbfounded look on her face. I'm like sitting there. I said, you know, a lot of times they always scream, you got to hone the piston, fit the piston to the block, not the block to the pistons. I thought, well, you know, if we do this, we're going to have this. This isn't, I mean, yeah. Yep. Yeah, 377s. Yes. 377s. I had a blast with mine. And then, like I said in that one video, I went back through my notes. And I thought I had put a steel crank in that motor. No, that was a cast crank 377 that I balanced and done up. And that was a blast. Hopefully the statute of limitations ran out because the wife and I was clocked at 165 mile per hour in my old brown Monte Carlo. So, yeah. That was fun. And at 160 mile per hour plus, the dotted lines turn into a solid yellow line. So, yeah, you're moving. I look back, the stuff that we done when we were younger, it's amazing we're even here. And you know what my hoist used to be? It used to be the tractor and loader. My old H. I'd either get back with the old Monte Carlos when they had the real metal bumpers. I could drive the bucket under there, just lift the car up. No jack stands, no nothing under. Crawl under a car and work. I've gone faster than 160, and that was in a relative's Corvette. The speedometer went to 220, and yeah. All I thought is we're going to die. If a pheasant flies out in front of us, we're going to die in style, I guess. Yeah, that old tractor, I got to get the starter off. I think I finally figured out what's wrong with the starter. The solder come off the terminal inside. So, and I've got a good little solder iron now. I want to try soldering that together and get that going because I'm ready to use that. Especially if we start doing something with the trailer house or adding on to the shop. That's my little bulldozer. My neighbor always says, you're going to tear that tractor apart doing that. Well, I had the motor rebuilt in that tractor. It's got what they call fire dome pistons in it. That little thing's got some snout to it. So, yeah, I want to get that to where I can hop on it, hit it with the starter again, and get that going and have fun with it. So, yeah. And I admit it, there was a time I was having a hard time doing anything. And just like calling the doctor the other day, I'm saying, I'm starting to walk like Hank Hill's dad. I didn't realize it, but I was locking my knees again, and I got too much I want to do. So that's another reason I keep trying to get the weight off. I mean, it'd be nice if I could actually get skinny enough. Yeah, thanks, Danny. Yeah, to get the thumbs up. I mean, we've doing pretty good. I had a $5 donation earlier from somebody, and we got. I'm really anxious to hear this 454 fire up. I wish we could have got them both done at the same time as the buddies that was here, and see which one. See the sound difference between the two different cams. But, well, in the heads, I mean. And that's the other thing too. I got that old 65 396. If I build it, I mean, this is just some of the stuff. Who knows? I mean, get it all fixed up, donate it to a museum somewhere. I mean, the stuff is disappearing. I mean, it's dying. And like I said, that's what I've been thinking here and telling myself, if I'm going to continue to work with motors, I'm going to have to come over to the new side. I'm going to have to get my hands on some LS motors and get them tore down, inspected, and that, and start building them. Which then that means I got to get a wiring harness and an ECM. And that's the reason I'm kind of thinking about building this other start stand, is so I can run these LS motors either way, either with the carbureted or with the factory plug and play stuff. So if somebody wants an LS built for their pickup, I can actually still run in the 396 427. I'm not too sure. I really haven't messed with the big blocks until later in life. Whenever anybody brought up a big block, I treated it like garbage. I didn't want anything to do with them. Now, I'm kind of like, I kind of missed out on a little bit of fun there. So, and I just stumbled into this 396. So, I know the area where the numbers matching car is for that motor, but the guy don't want it back. 65. It was either 65, 66 Chevelle manual tranny, red Chevelle. That's got a not stock motor in it, and the numbers matching motor sitting here in my shop, and he don't want it back. So, the kid that I got it from, he got a hold of the guy. Yep, you got to have if I put a new cam in it, I got to tell him it's for 65, or I got to take it to a machine shop and have somebody cut that groove in there for the oil to get around that cam. Yep. Yeah, the cam that's in there don't look good. It don't look bad, but if I end up fixing that and putting the money into it, you don't want to put an old cam in there. You just will put a new one in it. Even if you converted that to a roller cam, you would have to have the cam manufacturer cut that groove in there. Otherwise, it blocks off the oil to something in the back. I can't remember. Because the oil goes up and around in that cam. So, I don't remember what would be up there on that. But yeah, I mean, I've got my hands on some newer stuff to try. Some lightweight rods and that. I got a block here that's burnt between two cylinders, but two of the pistons might be questionable. I guess it was run lean and it burnt the head gasket. And well, then if you run it too long, yeah, things start to melt. But I don't really think it really hurt the pistons. But until I get it tore apart and checked out, I don't know. And it's kind of, I mean, a lot of people custom factory 400 blocks. I've had good luck with them. I mean, granted, I've been watching some Dart videos and that some of those new blocks. Oh, that would be sweet. But there's nothing having a well-seasoned. What I mean by seasoned is a motor that's been put through the heat and hot to stabilize them. When you get a green casted motor that's fresh, that thing will twist, shape, and change all the things. Okay, Jerry. Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, you've been having kind of car troubles too. I mean, Terry, I come across that combo. I can't remember if I found it on YouTube or where, but I come across where somebody's done it, and it was interesting. God dang it! Because I thought of you, and that's my attention span. I was like watching, and I thought of you, and then I forgot oh yeah, and then forgot all about it. Well, around here, for me to get these LSs, I'll have to go to the salvage yard. I can pick them up for $200 at the salvage yard. But trying to get them off people in the general public, off of Craigslist or Facebook or something, they think they got gold. So the only way I'm going to get my hands on them is go up to the salvage yard and go up with three buddies and just pull motors all day and load them up. And then bring them home, unload them, and tear them apart and see what we got. And that's the other thing. You got a certain casting number with these 5.3s and the 4.8s and all that. You got to avoid because they crack. They may not be cracked when you... the cast iron blocks and the 5.3s and the 4.8s. And I had one kid, I went and picked up what I thought was a 4.8. He swore up and down it was a 4.8. I think I gave him $50 for the thing. 50, maybe $100. I don't even remember. I said, well, what do you want for that 5.3? Oh, I want $700 for that. And I'm looking at that one that, it had the heads on it, so I didn't know. I'm looking. Something just didn't look right to that. I said, well, I don't want that one. He said, yeah, that's just a 4.8. It's just junk. Well, when we were loading it, I got to look at the crank number. I'm like, wait a second. So I didn't say anymore. He's like, it's junk, 4.8. I got it home, did some research, and I pulled the heads off, and there they are, the 5.3 pistons. Checked the crank number. It was a 5.3. He was going by the tag in the vehicle. He said it was supposed to be the original motor to that vehicle, but it was a 5.3 motor. And I'm like, okay, cool. So that's how I got that one spare 5.3. And then I almost had a heart failure because I went to take the cam out. The cam wouldn't come out. One of the cam bearings had, it didn't spin in the block, but it was welded to the camshaft. I got her out and I checked it. The cam bearing is okay. It will hold. So, but yeah, otherwise, yeah. So everybody around here thinks the 5.3s are gold. The way with the 6.0s or whatever. I mean, one junkyard I called when the guy was trying to get his hand on an HD truck. They still wanted $1,200. Yeah, there's not much difference on the 4.8 to 5.3. They still wanted $1,200 with a motor with 180,000 miles on it. I'm like, you're crazy. But yeah. So let's see. Oh, this is that motor behind me is that old 327, which that was in the 350 block, which I'm down to needing a set of pistons. Yep, let's see who we got here. Yeah, 6 later. Yeah, that's true. He may not be here, but he's still listening. That's cool. Oh, let's see. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's Squirrel and the other guy. Let's see. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Bill Jenkins. He done some crazy stuff too. I got a couple of his books, and it's just amazing. I mean, no, that's where our pioneers like that would just take a stock motor and do the craziest things that should have never lasted and that shouldn't even have started. And oh, you got a heck of a deal on that tranny. Holy, it's amazing. Then I've kind of explained about cam centers, and if you see one that's casted off the side, one way or another, one side of when it's off center like that, it either advances the timing on that one side and retards it on the other. I mean, so I kind of look for that on blocks, but some guys kind of get a little funny when you start doing that. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, not that I've ever really noticed a big difference between the cam centers. I mean, I've had motors that ran really, really good, and they had the offset cam center, so it might be one of those visual effects things. Even though it looks like it's off, it's actually still centered. It just the holes got put thin. So, but yep. We're heading for 2 hours already. Holy moly. Not doing bad, and I don't even know what time of night it is. It's only 9 o'clock? That's it? No, I don't want to set any alarms for tomorrow. I get up when I get up. And I've been waking up, since I've been getting my numbers under control, I've been waking up about 7:30 in the morning anymore. So yeah, it's amazing how things change. It's like this building here. If my dad would have let me build this years ago when I was racing, I don't know what kind of shape I would have been in. All I know is we would have had a lot of fun racing. Most of my race stuff set outside. I know there's sockets and ratchets and that laying all over this farm from the cows wherever I tried working. They'd come along and dump my toolbox over and trample it into the ground. I told Dad I was going to shoot all his cows one time. They got in the machine shed and they literally trampled my toolbox, destroyed it. I found about 90% of everything. The rest of it, I think, was all stuck in the ground or they ate it. Our Dad's cows would eat anything and drink anything. Walk up to an electric fence. They didn't care. Let it zap them. They walk right through it. I'm like, really? So yeah, I'm going to get, hopefully this summer I can get switched over and start doing LS motors and messing around with that. And they're not as scary as they used to be. I mean, I can remember the first time that I was confronted by Dad to maybe change a motor. That was in the 1975 GMC pickup. And you guys know how easy that mid-70s stuff was to work on. I looked at that and I'm like, I don't have a clue, Dad, what to do. Well, a year later, I went to school. Yeah, 2 years later. Or was I out of school? I can't remember. Anyway, and then they were just simple to do. I mean, it's just crazy. Okay, Mike. So, and I've kind of adopted the philosophy you don't learn anything until you jump in, and that's what I'm going to do with the LSs. Yeah, Mike, I'll get a hold of you on that too, on a test stand. We'll get something figured out there. And I know a few weeks ago somebody said something about they were waiting for Merlin to get a block made, and I haven't heard any more from that guy. That would have been cool to build a 632. That been fire that thing up. My neighbor would probably get up here and go, "Hey, what's this?" Thanks for everybody for tonight's show. I mean, this has been good. I mean, we've got a good count and people, and everything's working good. And hey, maybe that's what I'll have to try next Sunday. Sit in the chair and make sure somebody calls me and wakes me up. And what you still waiting for, Danny? My attention span kind of. That's. Oh, what's this? Okay, yeah, okay. This is what I find strange. Here you got a V8 Chevy piston. That thing is so thin and weak that they got to do what they call gas porting. They drill little holes right there. Oh, six. Oh, you're the one. Oh, okay. Oh, okay, Danny. Duh. Okay, now it makes sense. Sorry. Okay. Got to put gas porting so the compression can get behind the ring and hold it to the cylinder. And then you got these pistons. Got the big old thick rings. And it's amazing how much horsepower between thick and thin rings, and well, then you got that little V6 Ford. That it's got just the same thickness as the ring as that race motor, and they were trying to run it as an everyday motor. So okay, all right, that'd be cool, and that's what I like. It's, having this test stand, it makes it nice. Yeah, I mean, you can send stuff out the door and know it's working. Plus, it also rattles the neighbors. And I had an old neighbor. If he was still alive today, he'd been up here. He always said it living down there in that hollow. He said it was always boring. He said, but when I'd go test the Monte Carlo out after I get it running, he said he'd hear that and he'd get up and he'd just sit there and listen. And I got my cousin in trouble one night. 2 o'clock. Hey, Greg, how you doing? Welcome. Let's see oh, Jack of all trades. Oh yeah, that'd be fun. 900 horse. All right, I got the cousin in trouble because I took the Monty down to the golf course there, and 1:30 in the morning, and well, let's see how this thing blasts. I'm all by myself, nobody around. I stood on the throttle, front end come up, and I took off, and I got slowed down. And the next morning, my cousin calls me. He says, "Were you out running around with the car?" I'm like, "I don't know why." He says, he got calls at 2 o'clock because everybody thought he was out with the stock car, raising holy heck. I said, "No, it wasn't me. It wasn't me." His hired man lived from where I launched the car. He was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 miles away, and he thought my cousin was in the yard doing donies or something, picking on him. That's how loud that thing was, and yeah, so I didn't do too many blasts at 1 o'clock in the morning after that. Hey, he was always getting me in trouble, so I figured, what the heck? And one night, my buddy Joe and I were going up, and the uncle still lived on the home place. And we went over and turned and went by, and I see my Uncle Bill out of his chair looking out the window like, what's that? I mean, that used to be. You got best deal with rebuilt 350 for holy for Hobart? Yeah, you stole that stuff. You stole that stuff. You didn't trade nothing. You stole it. Jeepers. Wow, that's a heck of a deal. I'm never in the right place, right time for those deals. But, So how you been doing there, Greg? I think they get you all fixed up, or is that still coming up there, buddy? Almost made it in the trash can. Took the long way with that. Get some more trash over there. Yeah, miss. You're using a walker? Oh no, man. Greg. I was hoping they'd get you fixed up here. Well, hopefully they still get you fixed up soon. Yeah, I definitely missed that one. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I just don't. I'm just going to keep going. Just try to keep going. That's all I can do. I mean, each day I wake up, it's another day for another shot for another good day. Like today, I didn't know if the wife was actually going to go with me or not, and she did. And I'm like, cool, that was nice. Yes, it did. And actually, I threw it for the door, but it made a swap. It almost bounced around into another trash can that I forgot. Would have had better luck just throwing it on the floor. It probably went in there. Some days that's what I have, my luck. I mean, there'll be days I'm out here by myself working away, set something down, and you turn around and it's gone. Where did it go? You're the only one in here. How do you lose that stuff? Still, all this cleaning, I still not have found the replacement parts for the furnace. I know a couple of you that's been with me for a while said, yeah, I remember when you got them. Don't remember where you put them, but I haven't found the spare parts for that furnace yet. I'm like, I don't know. That'll be one of those things one day I'll move something on the shelf and they'll be right there going, hi. Never fails. Yeah. I gotta. Some of the stuff I look at, I got parts up there on that shelf hanging on the ceiling, and spring weather gets here, there could be a big change in the shop. A lot of things could go out on the iron pile and wait. Yeah, you just never know. I've had a couple of leads on some local equipment, but it's still, I don't know, it's still a little bit more than what I want to spend. Not saying I'm a cheapskate, but for me, the cheaper I can get it, the better off. But at the same time, if you're getting it too cheap, the machine that you're getting probably wore out. So, it is what it is. Oh, now who's... Oh, okay, squirrel's home. Squirrel sent a message a while ago saying, "Did you pick me up from Sisters?" And she just said, "All the Gold Crane roller tip rockers." Yes. Yep. And that's the thing too. I used to write down everything we did to the motors, and kept track of all that stuff. I mean, without it, I wouldn't be able to remember what I done. And there's probably 30, 40 motors in the books that I've still got. That don't include the ones that got destroyed. And good old 1.6, yep. Yeah, my 377 I ran, I had the crane roller tip, just the plain aluminum ones on there. And I out of the group of friends I used to hang with, I was the first one to play with the roller tip rockers, and that was kind of fun. I mean, we look back at what we did when we were kids, and we're like, how the heck did we afford that and all that? And it's amazing what you could do. I mean, and now a lot of my friends that we done that with have either died, moved on, or just no longer interested. Pinky rods. I've heard of those, but I don't think I ever seen any of them. I remember hearing that terminology. Don't think I ever seen them. Could you imagine a 632 firing up in this building? I hope the screws hold. My old shop, I started up. Hey, Double R. Hi, Russ. How you doing? Give you a funny. I almost missed my own show. One of you guys out on the East Coast called me earlier and reminded me what I forgot what day it was. My old shop, when I'd fire up a motor on the... That was before I had a start stand. I was... start stand. I used to start them up on the three-legged engine stand. Yeah. I used to. Okay. Start them up, and everything on the walls would always rattle off. Don't have a lot on the walls in here, but yeah. So how you been this week, Russ? Hopefully you got all healed up and feeling better. A couple others, unfortunately, a sad note around here in Iowa, death toll from the flu has rose to 49 now, which is never good, but still weak. Ooh, it really got a hold of you. I didn't get anything. Well, I got stuff done this week. I got a lot of numbers going through the heads and the old head and getting a refresher course on doing all this stuff. I mean, it's not that I did not realize all the different piston combinations and all this 6-inch rod stuff. I did not realize there was that much out there, and it's been in. I've kind of gotten a little learning curve, so that's been interesting. Yep, I haven't got anything done with the 327 here yet. Actually, I think I'm gonna wait, and like I said earlier in the show, the guy with the 454 is going to get that stuff, and we're going to test it out and be interesting. It'll be real fun to see how that works. I got stuff under the bench here. I bet you right now in this block motor building, there's oh geez, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 40 blocks in here. And 3 of them I know, right? 3 or 4 of them are possible boat anchors. No, I haven't seen anything yet. When I was out here working yesterday, I heard the mailman go. He didn't slow down, so nope, I haven't seen anything yet, bud. Not yet. I'm thinking I don't know what part of the country it came from for sure. I'm thinking it'll probably be first part of this next week. So nope, I haven't. I've been watching, haven't seen it. Oops, that's just the chair, Mike. Yeah, and that's what else? Kind of drawing a blank again. I hate when I do that. I'm surprised the tablet. I mean, I love. Like I said, I'm glad I've got the good working internet. I mean, right now I know all the comments will be up there. Yeah, on the. See, I'm running 2 computers right now. I just running the tablet and running the computer, and the live show is working. I mean, I love this new internet. So, one of my better things I've actually purchased. So knowing that, one of these days I'd like up where that bell is. What I'd like to do is find a camera I can mount up there and do one of the live shows and actually do a working live show. Like if this 327 that's sitting here behind me, go to put that together, and I could get that to work and do a live show. And that could have a live work show once. That's what I'm working for, is trying to get enough stuff done and have the parts here to do it. I could actually do a live build, and I don't know if I can get it put together in 8 hours or not, because that's the limit on the live stream. Well, the battery may not last 8 hours on. Well, if we're using a hardwired computer, it would last. So I'd have to figure that out. That's what I got to do now, since that computer's working good. I got to figure out how to go through. Yep. Yep. That's a comp cam box. Hey, here's something else. How many people remember being able to buy spark plug wire like this? Oh, the label's faded out now. How many remember being able to... This had the GM number on it. It's gone now. Oh, just barely. 734701. There's your HEI wire. You used to just cut it off. This is all brand new. It's getting dusty, dirty. Make your own wires. I've got the crimper and the ends and that. I mean, yeah, that's how GM used to replace your spark plug wires. They had to hire this by the roll. Just cut it, fit it, and put the ends on it. That's one of those things that, yeah, I can't bring myself to throw it away, but now that I reminded myself, a couple of plug wires I use in the test stand are burnt, so I'll make me a couple now. So yeah, we got comp cam box. I don't know how many of you have heard of Ultradyne. That's the cams I ran in my 377. That's right. You never know when you need. Hey, or otherwise I could rope you in the ass to take about a 4 foot, 5 foot section of that, hook it to a spark plug wire, and hook it under somebody's seat in their car. Start that and have the throttle go rev up on them. Yep, the old school corner. Yeah, there's. I got. Yeah, that there's. Yeah. I kind of wish. I wish I could go back in time and the stuff I used to have in the old shops and all that. I kept a lot of that stuff. Knowing what I know now, I would have kept the two 302 Chevys I had. I had a true DZ 302 once. I didn't know what it was until after I got rid of it. Then do you think I could buy it back at the time? Yep. Yeah, the wife goes, didn't you change your alternator yet? I said, no, I haven't. She kind of got that worried look on my face because it started whining again today while we were out doing our drive. And she's like, I thought you fixed that. I said, no, I haven't. Yeah, I think there's still a chance for a lot of this stuff to bring some good money yet. Um, yeah, it's getting more annoying though with me. For me to hear it, it has to be pretty loud because the wife was looking at me a couple of times like, what? She, last time I took her for a ride was a few years ago, and the Tahoe motor almost blew up on us. Uh, that's another thing. I might start driving. I gotta get a drive shaft for the Tahoe, replace that, and I sure hope so, Danny. I know there's been a rush to this LS stuff. I still think, in a way, they always say history repeats itself. And like I said too at the beginning of the show, if I get a motor built and somebody out of the country wants one, I forgot my old boss. He can ship anywhere in the U.S. So, or anywhere in the world. I mean, and he said he could get it done fairly good for a good, decent price. So that might be an option too. I know I got a buddy up in Canada that's been trying like heck to get me to come out that way, but I don't know. Like if I could build them there, I could build them here. I mean, so what? There's just a little extra shipping. I mean, I got the farm here. I got a place. I got a place that's home that I wouldn't have to go anywhere to do all this, and I just sit here and do it. And I went on eBay and I started pricing boring bars. I'm thinking, everybody's trying to tell me, oh, building these V8s. Yeah. Rebuilding these old school motors is dying. It's dying. It's dying. I'm like, okay, if it's dying, then why are they still making boring bars and Honan tanks? Yeah, I know. And I've had somebody tell me, "Oh, diesel motors, they just replaced the liner, so there's no more boring and all that." I That's just like saying when we developed the computers and the computers, we were going to use less paper. I think we increased our paper consumption now. Um, yeah, if there wasn't a demand for the stuff, they wouldn't be making it yet. So there's a demand out there. So it's. I think your what the glitch is to get the old school stuff is you got to do something special to them and show that they run harder than anything else, which can be done. It can be done. And I just had a reminder. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed. Yes, I love the Ultradyne. Mine. Let's see, my Ultradyne. Kid fought me on what I wanted the ground. Uh, as when Ultradyne was in Florida, then my Ultradyne was 286, 294 with a 552, 573 lift on a 110 lobe separation. I don't like going under 110. I'll run as high as a 115 lobe separation. Uh, Anything under 110, kind of, I just never was really pleased with it. But yeah, there's a lot of years of motors, and I still got the original cam cards. Oh, wow. Huh. Just found a. Wow. Ah, just found the old build thing for the friend that just passed away here at the beginning of the year. For a motor that I did for one of their vehicles. So, yeah, stuff like that. And here's a company. Anybody remember these guys? I think I can't remember if it was the guy that was making these laser cams. If he's when I a few years ago when I got back into this and started researching this, a lot of the guys that I talked to that used to grind camshafts for me and all that are either dead or too old to do it, or yeah, it's interesting how things. Hey, welcome back, Jerry. Yeah, Mike, I wish I could get out there and get that from you. I gotta fill. I gotta get some more storage because I go in the office sometimes and I'm like, okay, where is this? Need to get it organized a little bit again. Um, yeah, the Ultradyne, and I know a lot of guys cuss the Keith Black Pistons, and I had pretty good. Hey, I always told you I'm up to a road trip. Well, heck, maybe I should ask my buddy. Hey, if you can get such a good shipping rate, what would you charge? What would it cost us to throw it on a truck and ship it here? I mean, I have to do a road trip. 2,000 miles. Heck, I drove 350 since yesterday. I didn't plan on driving that much, and it's amazing how much mileage you put a. Yeah, like I didn't go anywhere yesterday. I went from the gas station out to here. Was here all day. Then I had to go look at that little MG. And went to the gas station to see Squirrel. Then come back out here to set because after I weld, I always like coming back and just make sure there's nothing smoldering or anything in the shop. Went home and then we left to go do what we did today, and I put on 50 miles. Yeah, I'm like, where did I go? And it didn't seem like I was that far away. I'm like, it's amazing how fast mileage racks up. It's crazy. Yep. So yeah, I got a whole bunch of stuff to clean again. Oh, Maryland, okay. Hey, Danny, do I have you on Facebook or no? I can't remember. Yeah, I want to. Once the warm weather gets here and I can open that door and work again, I'm going to. I really got a lot of plans for this year. I really hope they get to work out and get to do everything I want to. Okay. I can't remember if I got you on there or not. And one of you guys that's on here, I don't know if you're still here or not. Squirrel was funny one night. I went and watched a drag racing video, and she's like, "Man, that looks like fun." I said, "That's what I've been trying to get you interested in, is doing that stuff." She's like, "Well, that really looks like fun." So she says, "I want to do that." And with us having a track now within about an hour of home now, might do that with one of these old cars. Put it together and see if we can get Squirrel taught to the go straight line. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Did you see Squirrel stepping on the throttle? My idea of Squirrel stepping on the throttle, she'll be going. Dad's idea. Okay. Well, if you want, add me and I can talk to you a little bit. If you want. I mean, I don't know if you use Facebook or not. I know some of you guys don't. Uh, then I'll let her take the car down, and then I'll get in, and then I'll take her down, and show her how it's done. The oldest one, she was little. Every time my dad would step on the throttle, she was like, "Faster, Daddy, faster!" Squirrel, she's like, slow down. And now she's like, "I want to go fast. Can't make up your mind, please." uh, yeah, I think if we got to where we're living on the farm here. Hey, when I met Mama Bear, my Monte Carlo was still running with the 377. They came down with me, her and her friend came down. Well, she had to go back to get to work. I wasn't ready to leave because a bunch of my buddies showed up. And she's like, "Well, how am I going to get back to work?" I said, "Well, take the car." She looked at me like, "Huh?" And her friend looked at her like, "You're going to let her take your built car?" I said, "Go ahead and take it." She's like, "You serious?" I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, I hadn't known her very long, and I already gave her the keys to my car, and she said, "Just be careful with it." She said, "All right." You know, she finally fessed up. Her and her friend had a little bit of fun with it, but her friend just couldn't, was floored that I let my street car, let her take it to work. I'm like, well, she needed the car, and it's the only thing I had extra to drive at the time. So, yeah, Mama Bear, she always wanted me to put her in a street car, but we just never, or in a race car, we just never got it done. But yeah, you get Mama Bear wound up and get her going in a car. I think she could be a blast. I don't know if I'd want to be around, but especially if you petered her off to get her to go that way. But yeah, I think Mama Bear would be a fun one to watch go around the. Yeah, I bet you she would. She would. So, and after what we did today, she's kind of showing a little more interest in this stuff. So I'm working on her, guys. I'm trying to get her to get out here and help with this stuff. And there's days that I kind of miss my old buddy too. like these blocks that are rusty, dirty. I used to give him a drill wire brush, and he'd go sit outside and clean them. Oh yeah, she knows how to burn the rubber, and she her car she's got now is an all-wheel drive. She's kind of mad at it. She likes it. It's her first all-wheel drive she's ever owned. Yeah, and she's like, "It ain't no fun." I said, "What do you mean it's no fun?" She said, "I can't get it to slide on anything." When we had the snow and ice, she wanted to see what it felt like to feel the anti-lock brakes in it, so she'd know. And she wanted to know what it felt like if it slid. She purposely tried doing donies and making a slide in the parking lot on ice, and it didn't. It just grabbed and went. She's like, "That's no fun." So she's kind of mad that her car can't. She can't slide her car or do anything with it. But now that she's had an all-wheel drive, I don't think she'd ever go back to a front-wheel drive car again. She's I don't get stuck. Danny, I'm not sure how he's doing. He's just kind of gone silent. Other than the last video he put up, that's as much as I know. He's just not. That's the thing. You can't turn off the traction control on hers. It's all time, full time. So yeah, she can't turn it off. Oh, did he share something? I've been gone all day, and yesterday I didn't get on. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with Carolina. He's just kind of. I know he's got some health issues of some kind. That's all I know. Ah, you turned yours off on the Tundra, yep. Yeah, speaking of Tundra, I don't know if Buddy's going to take his truck in and have it inspected to see if it needs a new frame. Oh, it was okay. I don't know. Okay. I don't know if he's taking his in to see if it's going to get a new frame in it or not. He's like, it's got a lot of miles on it. What? I said, well, if they're going to put a new frame under it, you just will let them put a new frame under it. He's like, that's true. Hey, Rob, how you doing? Oh, he had a tumor in the leg? Oh, okay. I see you're making more videos there, Rob. Been watching you. Uh, okay, I didn't know you even had a tumor, so I guess I'm kind of behind on things. Okay. So, see how the battery's doing. Yeah, we got probably about another half hour left if I can keep thinking of things to talk about. And yeah, and boy, that's a heck of a place for that spring pocket to be broke for you too. That's good. Hey Matt, did he put up a video talking about it, or did he just message you? I guess I didn't know he had that much. That was the biggest problem. I thought it was all in his gut with his gallbladder, but wow. Okay. Carolina man, Mike. That's who we're talking about. I guess. Well, like I said, I didn't watch any videos last night and that, so that's the other thing I'm getting mad at. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. How to weld that together on your truck too. That's kind of a hard thing to do. I did it. I lost what I was thinking. mm, it's gone. It took out of here like a striped monkey. Oh, that's what I was going to talk. Well, YouTube's messing around with small channels and demonetizing everything, but that ain't the only thing they're messing around with. I'm noticing channels I've been subscribed to I can't find, or go in and it's just like it's like they've changed your playlist and they've changed this. And the other thing is, yeah, I bet you it does. The other thing is, and I like music of all some kinds, and some kinds better than the other. But I've noticed, and I don't know why it would be, but the one thing I've noticed with my music playlist, it's kind of gone. Well, how to say this without creating a big. I don't want to get into that. Oh, the hell with it. I don't care. I'm not politically correct. I've noticed all my playlists for my music is pretty much just all white people. There's music that I listen to from others, and now I've got to go search it out to listen to it. It's not no longer in my playlist. I'm like, when did that kind of change there? I mean, it's like they're segregating the music now. I'm like, what? It's just something I've noticed. Is the other night when I was talking to one of the buddies, I'm like, there's a song and I couldn't think of it, and I finally thought of it and went, and it's not in my playlist. I had to re-add it. I'm like, why? What? What's? So yeah, that's the other thing. I wish we could play music. There's days now that I got the computer, I turn on the music on the YouTube and just let it go. I seem to get more done. And it does. It makes the day go by faster and things go better. So I don't know. YouTube is kind of going through a weird change, and I don't. Some days I wonder if it's for the good or for the better or the worse. Unfortunately, I think it's heading for the worse instead of the better. Uh, okay, James. Cordless impacts. I've ran the DeWalt. A friend of mine's got the Rigid, and he swears by the Rigid, and I've used his a couple of times. The Rigids are good. The DeWalt's, I used to swear by them, and now I've got the little snap-on ones. Yeah, I know I said the bad word snap-on. Uh, those little snap-on ones have walked circles around my DeWalt. I'm like, wow, that just impressed me. Um, when I can use the little 14.4 and actually take out head bolts with that one, and the DeWalt just sits there and just hammers and don't move it. I thought, oh, for goof and giggles. I tried that, and it took the head bolts right out. All of them. I'm like, okay, that's quite a little thing. Yeah, the cost is there, but I mean, I used to use Sears stuff, and but Sears is dying. I mean, we've I think we've only got two catalog stores left. Yeah, the 18-volt half inch. My neighbor's got one for the farm, the DeWalt, and he loves it. And I've got my old DeWalt, but I need new batteries, and that's the problem. The batteries for the DeWalts, it seems like the last few I've bought didn't last as much as the original ones. Ah, and then somebody was who's Makita. Yeah, Makita was good. I've got a Makita drill 14.4. The batteries just yeah. I seen somebody using. I thought it was a Milwaukee with a DeWalt, the new style DeWalt batteries, the sliders on the Milwaukee. I couldn't get a good. I think it was Milwaukee. Don't hold me to it. But it sure looked like a Milwaukee that was using a DeWalt battery on it. I was like, really? Which, that it would make a lot more sense if they kind of did that to where you could use the same battery. I mean, come on. Why do we have to have so much different stuff that does the same stuff? I mean, a battery's a battery. Well, just make it work across the board. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. So, yeah, I mean, otherwise, Porter Cables was a good one. Oh, the 20 volt. Yeah, twice as much for the batteries. Yeah. And then the old Black and Decker stuff, you could use the DeWalt batteries, or if you. Yeah, I mean, Sears is gone. I mean, we lost one of the when in Fort Dodge, Iowa. That was one of the mother stores, and they closed that here 3 years ago. And yeah, and now I've heard of people having to send in tools to get the warranty done on it, and then if they decide that it was abuse, they charge you to send it back to you, and they won't warranty it. Like, come on, you got a lifetime warranty. And the last time I was at the Fort Dodge store before they closed, I had the chrome was coming off a socket, and the kid wouldn't replace it. I'm like, dude, the chrome's coming off. That means the socket's going. I said, what do you want to do? Wait until it breaks and I end up hurting myself bad? And then sue you? And he got mouthy. I said, hey, you know what? You better take care of your customers, otherwise you aren't going to be here long. 4 months later, they closed the doors. Oh, okay, well, yeah. They wouldn't. It's not broke yet. I'm like, the chrome's coming off. It needs to be replaced. Nope, he wouldn't replace it. I think there's a Sears left in Sioux City, Iowa. I hope. Maybe I'll have to go through my Sears stuff one more time, go up there, see if they replace it. I know years ago, I took it to. I took the upper chest I used to have, no extra one, and every time I broke a Sears stuff, I just put it in that chest. And when it got full, I went up there one day and I walked in the door, and you just see the salesperson like, oh, and they told me next time if you're going to bring that many in at once, give them a couple of days notice. They had everything. It only took them about 2 hours to get everything pulled and exchanged, and that piece of paper probably rolled halfway across the floor. They said, bring them in a little more often. I said, well, I don't get to the city that often. What's it? Oh, come back here. Yep. Yeah, I mean, yeah, rusted and that. Working in the junkyards, you'd be surprised what kind of tools you would find left in cars or in nooks and crannies. Well, heck, that black Tahoe I got for parts, when I pulled that apart, I got a Sears Craftsman 14 millimeter wobble and an extension. It was stuck down on the transmission tube. I'm like, well, somebody looked for that for a while and couldn't find it. And Lord knows how long that thing drove around with it there. I mean, it was starting to get rusty. So it'd been up there on that transmission tube for a long time. Start rusting. So it's amazing what you can find in some weird places. And there's a farm not too far from me. The guy, yep, the quarter panel and the trunk drops off. You'd be surprised what you'd find in there. I had, before the gas cans had a good lid on them, Russ, I'm surprised I didn't blow myself up one day. Literally. Had an old 74 Monte Carlo. Came up from Arizona. Went to town, got gas. Turned off the highway onto the gravel road, and young, you're always sliding the corners. You don't think nothing of it. got up here to get the gas can out, opened up the trunk, and I'm like, oh, I had gas, 5 gallons of gas floating on the trunk floor. I'm like, Dad, come out. I said, don't come close to the car. He's like, what? I said, the gas can tipped over. All that gas, it was in the down in the quarter panel drop offs. I'm like, oh no. And you could just see it eating the coating out. I'm like, ah, oh, come on. I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? And luckily there was plugs in there and popped them out, drained the gas on the ground, and left that car sit for a week before I could drive it. It just, oh, yeah. So, yeah, if I would have smoked, we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation, that's for sure. Oh, it opened up, reached in. I'm like, oh, this is not good. And Dad's like, what did you do? I said, I don't know. The gas can just tipped over. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Who was it? Yeah, Ace, Craftsman, and Stanley, I think. There's like 3 or 4 of them that are going together. Oh, gas. My mom, towards the end of life, when Dad used to have an old fuel uh, oil burner. It got to where when Dad would have diesel delivered, Mom would have to be out of the house all day because she couldn't stand the smell of that diesel anymore. Give her an instant headache. Whoo! That was just putting it in the barrel, and they didn't spill. It's just the fumes. Mom couldn't handle it no more. So yeah. So tools. I guess I've had Snap-on over the years. Got away from Snap-on because of the cost. Now, since the warranties and I'm tired of going to the local Baumgars. Granted, yeah, they got warranty, but every time I use the thing, it broke. I got tired of driving that because for me to go anywhere, it's a minimum of an hour drive total to it and back minimum. To get to the stores to get the stuff warranted, and I just said I've had enough driving because gas ain't cheap. I mean, by the time you burn up your gas, your time, and that, you're spending quite a bit to go get a cheap tool replaced. So, and hey, you only live once. I mean, heaven forbid something happens to me tomorrow. I got to enjoy what I had. I mean, it's kind of what life's supposed to be about. You're supposed to enjoy what you got and have fun while you're there. So, hey, you want to enjoy the good stuff? I mean, when we die, we can't take it with us. So, just have fun while we can where we're now. And that's why I'm hoping, really, really hoping to get the Camaro going this year so Mama Bear can have fun with it. And if I told Mama Bear about a motor that I'm thinking about putting in there, and she just started smiling. She's like, yeah, that'll work. So, yeah, hopefully we can get this spring, get the body work and that done on the Camaro and get her out and let Mama Bear start having fun with it. I won't. You're going to take your tools with you. Oh, yeah, KD and SK tools. Yeah. SK, old slip and cuss, is what my dad used to call them. I mean, it's amazing in the time that we've been here on how tools have evolved. And when Dad was doing it, I mean, most of the repairs on the farm was done with an old flat iron wrench. I mean, Pro Tool, yep. It's hard to believe that when I was a kid, that what we know as a norm now was just really starting to hit the farms and the public. Yeah, Dad used to just cuss slipping. He liked them, but he'd always cuss them. And that when S&K first came out, my dad was breaking that stuff left and right, tearing the the anvils off the ratchets or snapping the sockets, and that's where the slip and cuss come in. You'd be wrenching on it and then it'd snap and then you punch it. And that's the thing. I mean, it's amazing how things evolved. And the tools that are available nowadays, I mean, just like this Ford motor, in order to time this thing, we're going to end up either rent, hopefully we can find one to rent, or we're going to end up having to buy it to set the timing in this. Because that's so crazy. The only thing that holds those camshafts in time on this little Ford motor is the bolt tension. So yeah, it's crazy. And they got you a specialty tool, $300 for the set. By the time you get shipping and handling and that on it, and get it to your door. And unfortunately for me, it's probably going to be a one-time use because I guess put that up on the wall of fame. The one-time use stuff. But without it, you can't do anything. I told him I threatened him with that. He goes, no. He said no. He wants his little 4.0. I don't know why, but yeah. And that, I remember reading the articles in the Stock Car Racing magazine, Circle Track, and Hot Rod, and that. They said at one time, years ago, back in the 80s, eventually it's going to become a dealer-only fix your cars. You love the smell of diesel. I can't stand it anymore. I didn't think that day was coming. Well, it hasn't gotten here, but it is getting here. By having all these specialty tools to do this stuff, what they've done is weeded out the home mechanic. I mean, if you're going to work on your own stuff, you're really going to have to be serious. There's just too many. And then, even the LS motors, which I've learned that you don't need all those specialty stuff. They've got a kit for that's supposed to put the front cover on and the rear cover on and set this seal and do this seal. I built that one. Didn't have that. But at first I was convinced I needed it. And then I talked to some people that built a few and they said, no, you don't. And just told me what to do and boom, it worked. Oh, an update on that. Remember here a while back, the Suburban was using oil. Changed the valve cover, put a new alternator on it. And I asked him, I said, how is it doing? It's no longer using any oil. So that valve cover, whatever's in that valve, I haven't tore that old valve cover apart to see what's up in there. So if you guys got a 5.3 or the LS motor that's all of a sudden using oil and you're not knowing, it's the driver's side valve cover. There's a valve in it. Goes bad, it starts sucking it up and putting it right in the intake out the exhaust. So the Suburban is finally not using oil. So that's another good thing for this year. Yeah, that. Yes. Yes. I thought I had somebody pull in here. I can hear it now. I can hear the train a couple miles away. I can hear that diesel motor working. I thought, oh, okay, somebody pulled in. Who's here? Sorry about that. Winnipeg, Master. Yeah, yeah. We got that ethanol plant. and it's so quiet outside, I can actually hear the diesel locomotive, the diesel engine working, pulling the train cars. Yeah, that would be a little bit of a trip up to Winnipeg. And yeah, I mean, I've got, well, then, well, that's going on 3, 4 years ago when Iron Man met us. We met up with him. He brought over some old stuff that he saved from the salvage yard. Yep, that valve cover issue. Uh, Unfortunately, the guy that turned me on to that unfriended me now. So, wouldn't have been for him, I would have still been beating my head on why that motor was losing oil. And he told me the test to do and did it. And boy, that oil just run right out that valve. $110 for that valve cover, though. Holy, wow. But I guess you put a valve in it. Oh, yeah, that's because we thought with that Suburban at first, and I took it to a couple other guys, and they're like, where the heck's the PCV valve? And you look in all the books, it didn't say it was the valve cover. And then one guy goes, oh, it's supposed to be right. He goes, what the heck? And then we were looking at the pictures of the intakes that's supposed to be on that Suburban and what was on the Suburban, and he bought the Suburban with, I don't know, 5,000 miles on it. So it's all original. The intake that was on that Suburban matched nothing in the books. So, and we don't know why it has such a different intake on it. So we don't know if something slipped out of the factory that wasn't supposed to or what, but the intake on his does not match anything in any of the replacements so the PCV valve was supposed to be up in that plastic intake and it wasn't. It's evidently in that valve cover. It's been a while, James. I've got some motor sitting back there in the corner. Went up, oh God, that was about the last time we drove the Tahoe. Mama Bear and I just went up, picked up, what was it? 2 400s, a 350, 487X heads. And we picked up a few things up there and got back, and then a week later, the tranny broke. Yeah, and when it got, they say there's not much use to that ethanol. I tell you, the one night, and that was kind of weird. I'm like, another train? We had 3 train. I don't know how they did that on the single track, but there was, well, it's probably one train twice, and what seemed to be the third train was another one coming in. There was 3 trains that went through town one night. I know they were hauling a lot of corn out or in, I don't know, to the ethanol plant. I mean, everybody thought they were crazy for where they put this ethanol plant. Okay, Patch. Yeah, hopefully next week I won't be late. But then again, it seems like being late, I've had a lot more people come by tonight. It's been interesting. But where they put the ethanol plant here in that little town, they literally moved a whole 360 acres of land. It don't look like it, but they dropped the hill 120 feet down to make it flat. Oh, Super Bowl next time. Okay. Yeah, maybe I might have to do it Saturday night. See, I don't even know what's coming up for sports or nothing. I'm just got my heads and motors and worried about this stuff. It's just trying to think what else. Oh, here's how many people remember these old things? The old oil filter wrenches. They've been hanging around for a while. I haven't even touched them. I don't know when the Super Bowl is. I'm totally lost. Oh, what happened here? You still use those, huh? Uh, yeah, I've got a. What the heck was it? It was my buddy's Toyota Tundra. It took us forever to find the oil filter. It's up under some plastic cap. Yep, and then we got the little office and. Yeah, let's see. Oh, yeah, there's the sign that got my thumb. Yep, see, there you guys go. Old Ultradyne. That was a 285, 295 F6 cam. I don't remember what that one was. But yeah. What's that? All right, Judy, thanks you for stopping by. Okay, what they can't stand, I can't watch. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, the oil filter, they hide that in a heck of a spot. Oh, gotcha. Sorry, Dan. And here, check out this old green toolbox. I painted it green. It was red. That thing's about 3 foot long. And I can't remember. You could almost make out the name of it, but it wore away too much. And there you go. There's one of those H beams. Either H beam or I beam. I don't know. And see that this stuff. If we get it on get it. See that rusting on there. It should look brand new when it's all done. Hopefully, so. Taking any chances. Yeah, that would be a good thing there. So, yeah. It's hard to believe this building here is now going 18 years old. Yeah, 18. December of 99 is when I turned on the power in this. Just before Christmas. That was my Christmas gift when I turned the power on in here. Didn't have any insulation in here, but we had power. Yeah. I see this building. Me and friends built this building. Knowing what I know now, I wish I would have went bigger, but everybody always says that. Otherwise, yeah, we just got a little bit of everything, and here's a. These came. I mean, the first jaw is kind of tight. The next one over, it just works perfect. Those are some cheapos that I got from Chop Shop when I went down in there. And and here you want to have fun, try finding the standard bore 350. It's got a brand new pistons. I haven't found a standard bore block yet. Oh yeah, I've had some tools that I've grabbed a hold of and just folded them over. If you wanted to test on them, Dad was one to do that. My dad, he had a heck of a grip on him. So. All right, Russ, you continue to feel better and stay ahead of that flu and sickness. That's no fun. So, yeah, I'll get a hold of you and we'll get some. I have put the word out for what looking for, so I got people looking. Actually, I got looking for a couple of things. Looking for a couple of 283 large sternal cranks. Prefer steel if I can find them. Here we are, Harbor Freight. Yeah, Princess Auto. Yeah, Princess Auto. Seems some of the stuff that the old dog over here. Where's over here? Oh, Carl. Yeah. Yeah, I've got a few of my dad's tools left. See, after we moved off the farm, we went through the same thing. And unfortunately, I know where my stuff went. I found it years later. It was my cousin that come over and started helping himself to stuff. This bird starts snoring. uh, uh, yeah, we just stuff started disappearing and found it. But, it's a lot of dad's stuff was the old SK and what else? Some Norwegian tools. Kingston, okay. Take I don't know. You guys must be out on the same side of Canada there. I don't know. But, and my dad too. If he needed something for the farm, yeah, prison there. Uh oh. I seen. I don't remember what Dad did, but I think he ran a piece of wood through the old corn chopper and bent it. And Dad needed the separate spread part of it so the blade could, because when it was spinning, it locked it and it torqued and it twisted the spindle and it bent it. And I told Dad, "Oh, you need a porter power." He says, "I don't need no porter power." He picks up scrap metal, starts doing this, that, cutting that. Next thing you know, he's made a spreading tool that he made to fit that old hay chopper. Put it in there and then started heating that metal cherry red and reach in every so often with the wrench, turn it, heat it, turn it. Yeah. Dad's like, why go to town and buy it? Just make it yourself. I do have a few of the things that he made me yet. He made me a when you're working on the 350 turbo trannies, you got to get the low and reverse piston out, and you got to take the spring off. The tool was expensive, and he looked at the picture of it, and about 20 minutes later, he said, "Come in," threw it at me. He said, "Hey, will this work?" He made a thing and put a bolt on it, and by God, it worked. I just revamped it a little here not long ago when thought I was going to rebuild my 4L60s, and haven't ever got to those yet. And now I don't need them, so I don't know what I'm going to do with those trannies. Hate to throw them away, but I can't get anybody to buy them for course. So, hey Mike, we just crossed the 3 hour again. Holy cola! How do you guys help this night go by? I mean, it didn't seem like it was that late. So, yep, we got. Okay, yeah. I like how you had to use your welder as a cutting torch the other day. You know, there's not many people know that you can do that. Well, you got to use a stick welder. Wire welder wouldn't do it, I don't think. Yep, 3 hours and 10 minutes now, Mike. I better check the battery because last time I checked it was. We probably got about another 15 minutes here. quarter-inch ratchet down. Hey, I never thought of doing that. You remember when they had those old diesel motors in those Cutlasses and the Grand Prix and the Monties when they thought diesel was the way to go, and they took those Olds motors and put diesel heads on them and still left the gas. Oh, what a mess that was. And then they had that injection pump down in there. You couldn't get to it. I had a wrench that I took and heated up and bent around so I could get in there to get to that injection pump to work on them. Oh, God. Yeah, those stupid diesel motors. That 6.5 diesel was terrible. I hated that thing. The 5.7s. Yeah, and they'd always blow the head gaskets out. You get about 10,000 miles on it. You're looking at another set of head gaskets. The only thing it did, you could put, for a young kid, you could fill the tank with diesel and you could drive for 2 weeks. I mean, that was the good part, but man, the upkeep and the gelling up and not starting when it's cold. Oh, I hate diesels. Never got to where I really cared for them. Oh, yeah. I'd fall over too. As long as I don't fall over the wrong direction, I'll be okay. Yeah, I gotta get that out. But yeah. So yeah, as you guys can see, I got a lot of cleaning, and I'm going to be doing a lot of crack checking on stuff. And I got, the diesel shove it. Shove it over the cliff. Some people just love those cars dearly. I hated them dearly. I mean, oh, come on. The Chevy Chevette. Chevette. It wasn't no Corvette by any means, that's for sure. Before we got under... Okay, 509 Jack of all trades. Thanks for coming by. And, hey Gary, welcome back. Just trying to hang out here. Battery's getting a little low, and before we got it under control, and after I got the farming out and I got it sprayed, the hemp weed was growing wild here. And we were moving off the farm. My cousin's kid called me and said, hey, somebody's out there snooping around going through the buildings. I said, stop him. So I'm on the way out. I called the cops, told them I got trespassers. So they were heading this way. They said, well, all right, let us know if you need help. I get out here, and it ends up being a guy I know. And he was laughing. I thought it was all funny, and I just ripping him from one side to the other. And here underneath this pickup they're driving, they got a pile of hemp underneath the truck. Like you can't see it. Come on, people. I'm like, what are you doing out here? Well, you said, well, I come out to get my car. I said, all right, get out back and get it. He's like, what? I said, well, you come to get the car, get it out of here. So I went and did something. The old farmhouse was still livable at the time, so I went in there and watched him. He digs that stuff out, stuffs it in the back of the truck in the camper, and when they pull it up, well, the tire's flat. I said, I got an air compressor for that, pumped up the tire and that. Well, he's trying to come up with excuses not to take the car. I said, well, if you come for the car, you better get it out of here. So they take off. And I stuck around the farm for a little bit. Well, then a friend of mine says, hey, so-and-so got his car. I said, yeah. He said, did you know what they did? I said, what do you mean? There's just barely enough room in there for somebody to drive the thing. They took it to the next town. Went in the park at a buddy's house. They stuffed that little Chevy Chevette with all that wild hemp. He thought he had a gold mine. And they come out and seen that. They said, get that car to blank out of here. And to this day, yeah, I have not talked to that guy. He never come back. And yeah, they loaded up that little Chevy Chevette completely full of the wild hemp off the farm. I'm like, oh man, somebody's going to have some bad headaches. And now this stuff didn't grow this year. And now they're talking about bringing hemp back and start using it again. I'm like, yeah, watch. The hemp will become valuable, will die. Well, it didn't grow this year, so there goes my cash crop. Oh, but no. So, yep. Yeah, and that 396 I got, it even has a steel crank in it. And its numbers match, so unfortunately it needs bored and the crank needs turned. The head needs one valve, so it'd be kind of fun to get this thing built and fire it up, see what it sounds like. .383s that I've built. I've done about 4 or 5 of them. The 383 with the 400 crank and the 350 block, we did 4 of them when we were circle tracking. We just could not get them to run right. Did not like them. Now the 377, the 350 crank 400 block, we had a blast with those. We've done 3 or 4 of those, and so yeah, it's. And I swore up and down, but it ain't in my notes. One of those 400s where we ran in the race car, the guy over another town used to take the rear main cap, mill it all flat, and they used to have a 1/2 inch or so adapter plate to put on there. Because at the time, the only problem they were having on the circle track with them is they were splitting that rear main cap in two. Then you'd lose your oil pump and all that. So machining that off, and there used to be an adapter. I got the part number in the notes. I don't think it's available anymore, but then it was a steel plate that the oil pump actually bolted to that, and then that was all torqued down, and so it used to cost $100 to have that rear main machine to fit it. So but yeah, I've done a few of them, but motor-wise, building them and tearing them down, and I don't know how many thousands of them. All the motors. The old boy up at the junkyard, he done some shady stuff, but the owner knew it. I mean, using beer cans for shims, and the one time the guy brought in this inline Ford, it was knocking. I'm like, Norm, you got to replace. The guy ain't got the money. I'm like, what are you going to do? He says, watch this. Oh, he's chewing on a cigar, and he's underneath there, got the oil pan off, and got the piston out, and I'm like, the crank's bad. He sat there and sanded on that and polished that sucker. Then he went and didn't even mic it. He just went and got a 1/100 bearing or something and replaced that single bearing. We put it together, started that thing up, and that guy drove it. He said, oh, it's best as ever ran. I'm like, I mean, some of the stuff you would think that would not work, and that old boy, he'd do it and it'll work. Then you go and try it and it fails. I mean, and there's a guy I've watched. I mean, sometimes he says, "Oh, I'm just putting." He says, "Yes, I know the main bearings the motor needs to be rebuilt, but we can't do it at this time." He said, "I need to get it through this winter," and he just did the same thing. He sat there, polished everything up, made it smooth, put the new bearings in, and as far as I know, it's still running. He said, "I know the motor's toast, but he said I can't replace it right now." He says, "I got to do what I got to do." So yeah, sometimes I mean, some people think when you build a motor, you got to be surgically clean. Well, if you look at these new factories now, I mean, they're built over how many acres? Yeah, they're clean, but they ain't surgically clean. If you're working on a motor that's got to be built and that, you're spending some money. So it's interesting. Just because it's made or done a certain way doesn't mean it needs to stay that way. So 3 hours 20 minutes. How are we doing on battery? Come on, battery. Let me see. Yeah, we're close. We might make it to 3:30, so we got about another 10-15 minutes we might make her. So I really appreciate everybody coming by tonight. This has been blasting. Even though it was a late start, but oh, I guess you can't win them all. It is. Oh wow, wow! Last time I looked at the clock, it was like it's 10:30 now. Okay, James, you have fun. Thanks for stopping by. Yep, I've got the catalog from Bullet now, and yeah, called and talked to him, and I told him what I had. And he says, "Yep," he says, "we got all Ultradyne's original everything." He said, "We can duplicate your cam yet." I'm like, "Cool." I got that sitting up there. It's been greased. I should actually run it through the hot tank, clean it up, make sure it ain't got any rust on it, but I want to put that motor back in the motor. One of the last times we drove that, we went to the races one night, and we parked by the pit gate, and as we're pulling up, the state troopers are like, everybody, the officials like, "Who's driving the modified in here?" And I pulled up, parked, and as soon as I shut it off, that state trooper looked over, and he just like smiled, like, "Hey, all right." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going to wait till you're gone tonight. I ain't leaving right away." And we went up, paid for the pit pass, went in, and they're just shaking their heads. I said, "No, that's not the modified motor. No, no, no." Just rattling. Yeah, if everything works out, I've got a buddy coming down, a couple of buddies that might show up, and hopefully we can get the Camaro fixed and going. I know I got that parts car here that's got the good cowl, so I know we're going to have to take the windshield out and replace the cowl in the car. I know that. And the buddy that's coming says he can make everything else, and I don't have to buy anything. So if we don't have to buy a whole bunch of stuff, or we can use what we got, yes, I want the Camaro running this year. Because if we don't get it going soon, between Mama Bear getting a bad knee and my knee's going bad, we ain't never going to get to enjoy the stuff. So yes, that's the goal. Get the Camaro going, and maybe one of the Monte Carlos together, and maybe go hit a drag strip or two or something, or we'll have a race between Papa and Mama. Yep, the 358, and yeah, a lot of the guys are running the 357s or 360s around here. A lot of, like I said, a lot of 6-inch stuff. Yeah, this is a 6-inch rod, bushed. Boy, they sure don't give that stuff away. I've been checking prices on it, and yeah, we got some stuff we're trying to find and get done. And oh yeah, I was supposed to go do something there too. I forgot all about. Oh well, I can look that up when I go home, or do it tomorrow. I mean, it's not yeah, the wife told me that, and now I'm just remembering it. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, there when we used to be able to run what you brung, we used to have uh, a lot of 406 stuff and a lot of this and a lot of that, and now they've killed it all. I mean, some of my best running motors were stock 400. The Oldsmobile motors, I done a couple of them, and I was never really happy with them. The kid I did them for, he liked them, but working on when I worked on them, they still if you wanted to convert it to the neoprene rear seal, it was really expensive at the time, and the kid was a cheapskate. He wouldn't get this gasket, so he made me put in the rope seal. I tell you, I did. That's the only thing I hated about the oils is that stupid rope seal. And then the next one he had me do, he's like, yeah, you know what? We're going to spend the money on getting that neoprene seal, and that one went better. But the other one I hated was the Buicks, because every time you did anything on the front of the motor, you always had to take the oil pump apart and pack it with Vaseline so the thing would prime. Otherwise, it would never prime. That was another stupid design that they had, those external oil pumps on those Buicks. I hated those. Uh-oh. There's our 15% warning. So, which means we got just a few minutes here. So, well, we made it to 10:30. And unfortunately, $403. Okay. Well, Mike, I just got the 15% warning on the tablet, and I don't know why. No, I finally figured, and I don't have it out here. I didn't bring it tonight, but we've made it about 3.5 hours already. So, yep, I want to get. Goals are is get the Camaro going, get a live build done, build a motor from start to finish. I guess, well, it will be kind of a start to finish. It would be everything's going to be checked and mic'd and all that parts laid out. Then we'll just actually assemble it and see if we can get it done in one day. I mean, granted, the motors done in one day are sometimes good, sometimes bad, but for visualization. Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know. I don't know. I seem to have done something to some people, and I have been blocked and removed, and I don't know what I done. So, other than woke up and breathed that day, it's what I've ran into. So, but anyway, I guess before we lose the power on the tablet, which is, yep, it's not even got enough power. I can't even see the message up there. Yeah, I know. I know it's not. That's not the one I'm talking about. It's not him I'm talking about. It's others that I don't know. I guess the last thing I want to finish on. It seems like I've made a lot of comments back to people that actually comment, and I never ever get a like back, or even if they know that I comment back. I mean, I'm not getting the feedback to know. So lately, I've just been liking the comments, and I'm not getting any interaction back on the comment end. So I just like it and move on. So I don't know. I know I got a certain group of dislikers. I kind of know who they are now, but hey, that's part of YouTube. You still watched it. You still turned it on. Still counts. Oh, that's fine, Mike. You're good. So, yep, my tablet doesn't even have enough power to let me see the messages. I wouldn't even be able to see even your messages. They flash up and so. I guess. Thank you everybody for coming by tonight, and we got some interesting stuff coming up. Some stuff I'll be able to show you. Some stuff I was told not to. No, but that's how it goes. So. But the stuff I can show you, you guys will be seeing. So, anyway, 3.5 hours down again tonight. And thank everybody for coming by. And let's continue to make this a good year and keep moving forward. So, that's all we can do. Gotta have fun. So, all right, everybody. Y'all take care. See you later. See you, Danny. I'll look you up on Facebook later.